Guess who's back? It's Creative Redundancy back again, the one known as CR. Had a little bit of technical issues in the beginning. Sorry for the delay for this stream. And I want to welcome everyone here to this very, very special live stream for me. You're going to see some passion in this, some heart in this, because, core has CR in it. Maybe hopefully encourage some of you out there with a CR in it. This is the People, Resources, Environmentalism, Preparedness stream from me, which just happens to have the acronym PREP, because acronym has CR in it, by the way. So hello, all. Wait, I see some people in my side chat already. Let me just say that, this stream, like I said, is about the people of the earth, people of the resources of our planet. I say our because we live here on this planet and the environment around us. So more than just the 5 R's, right? The land, the air, the water around us, and general preparedness. So if you take anything from this, go out there, be proactive, and let's create a better future starting today. And be more. Make our reality effective. That bunch of acronyms right there for everyone right there. I see, let me just bring in my chat here. Give me a 5x5. All right. Food forest permaculture. Prep for it. Into the bush. Quiet listener. I see you all in there. I see you. I'm assuming it's good because no one's complaining about the sound yet. So while I wait for the people to show up here, it's the people that are important right now, right? You guys, you guys are the followers. You guys give me the watch time, give me the likes and all that stuff, right? It's the people out there that are farming the fields, gathering the harvest. It's the people that help us out. It's that the people that, literally help other people out. It's the first responder peoples that help us out. It's the people that pick up garbage, right? In a truck or whatever, right? The recycling too. It's the gardeners out there and the farmers out there that are really giving us, the crops with a CR in it, the food. It's the people running the, those water treatment plants to give us that water, that cleaner water. Maybe it's that farmer on the side of the road or whatever trying to sell some cherries or something like that for us so we can enjoy them. The people that bake so you can have some bread. That person that you bought that tool off of. That person, those people that are running those yard sales, those grad sales, you can get a deal on like some tools and such. Those nice people that even help me out, right? Oh, here. Hey, CR, would you like this crocheted blanket? Yeah. Right? People behind that. I'm going to bring up the camera here. And I need to adjust this a little bit. Yeah. So I'm all wired up for this stream. I am. Like I said, it's the people. All right? It's the people that do those giveaways and such. It's the people that are willing to give up something, like a tool or something like that, and then sell it to you. Those people. And then there's the people that you might not see when you're picking up something or whatever, right? The clerks, the store clerks, the cashiers. the custodial staff, so it's nice, clean area when you walk down an aisle. And of course, the people around you and me right now, right? Friends, family, co-workers, fellow YouTubers, right? Like-minded individuals, and all that stuff. So, something to consider. Just like all you out there. Hi, Tina. Hi. And like I said here, hopefully I don't scroll back by accident. Like I said, food first permaculture, into the bush here. Quiet listener. Hello, 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 everyone. So yeah, you guys matter too. Don't let anyone tell you you don't matter, because you do. Those strangers that help you out. People that help relief effort. Maybe even yourself have helped relief effort due to forest fires, hurricanes, storms. Right? Look at all those people down south in Florida last week, last week I think, or the week before. A bunch of YouTubers went down into this area. They didn't know the people per se at first, but they're helping them with food, right? Giving them a warm meal, raising the morale of the people. I can't stress that enough. People. This is why people is actually the first part of this. And not just because it starts with a P. It's because it's the people that can change things. It's the people that can help. Of course, not everyone's great. I admit that. But there is a lot of people out there that are still good out there. That good Samaritan, right? It helps you out. You're on the side of the road and someone helps you change your flat tire, helps you up, pulls over and asks if you're okay. Maybe even help you out. Not just because they're being kind or something like that. It's because generally, and hopefully it's because they care enough that, hey, with a CRA, because like I said, it could be easily you or me or someone else. Special shout out here to Wes S. Hey, Wes. By the way, Wes. Yeah. Look. Thanks, Wes. I still remember you, man. Like I said. That's it. I brought that out. I remember what you did. Right? I remember what you did. That's a person right there. He told me how much the shipping was. All right. That's why I always remember you and Mrs. Wes S. It's nice to see you, by the way. Let me see. What's right there? The church organizations that went to Kentucky after the tornado was very impressive. Yeah, people that went down to Florida. People that went here in Canada after Fiona went by in Atlantic Canada, right? People that went by to go help. Using their own fuel, right? Their own fuel, their own vehicles, right? This is not government aid or some sort of pre-established organization. These were people, fellow YouTubers that we know too, right? People wanting to help their community or country or state because they realized, we can't just let this, we got to raise the morale of the people. Because right now it's M.O.R.E. Yeah. Wes, that's why you're awesome, man. Virtual fist bump to you right there. And of course, virtual fist bump and a virtual hugs for you all out there, you people out there. I remember you guys. You know, you guys are giving me encouragement right now too, right? You guys are coming behind the stream right now, right? And I appreciate that, all right? You guys are definitely putting that CRA and that encouragement for me and raising my own personal morale. I do appreciate it. You help make tacos? Yeah. You know what's funny? Look. All right. It's the people, right? People help make tacos. Obviously, machinery and all that stuff, right? But the corn that goes involved in this, the farmers then actually have to plow the fields and all that stuff, right? That water to water the fields, right? So the crops can grow and all that stuff. There's people behind that. You know, and the resources that go behind all of that. I know. You're probably wondering, does CR have like random stage props for everything that everyone's talking about? I'm like, yeah. I made sure I brought out some key examples here. Sorry about my light. Let me just slide this over a little. Sorry. I have an LED light. So because I'm running it for this one. Let me just adjust it. Sorry. Let me adjust it here a bit here. Hopefully without. Yeah, it's right here. I got it right over on the side. So I do appreciate you all dropping in. For the responders and the families who were displaced in Kentucky, yeah, all right. Because, you know, some of you out there, the people out there, I know generally a general idea of where you live in terms of like area, south, east, whatever, province, whatever, state, whatever. So when I hear stories out there about something happening, I'm like, I always think about you guys. I mean, I reached out to someone when the things happened in Vegas. Like, was that last year or the year before? Right? Right? I reached out to someone, right? Because they may have known someone at that time attending that event, that event and all that stuff. It's because I care enough, you know? Because you're probably like, well, CR, they live hundreds, thousands of kilometers, miles away, Yeah, well, they are also people I've started to get to know and stuff like that. And show them that they are not alone, even though maybe it wasn't directly affected them. But just to show, someone out there actually does care enough, just to be like, hey, you good? You good? And stuff like that. It's just like, it's like when you see, customary in some cultures to like offer water to like the elderly, right? Older people, right? The grandparents and stuff like that. Where you're not where it's just like, hey, do you need some water? Right? Yeah. This is more too, right? The water. Not so much the bottle, but the water. This H2O, right? This is all we all need this. Every one of us, right? It's one of the core things of the rules of three. Water is very important. You're not going to get by long without it. I mean, If you want coffee, you probably don't need that water. Speak of coffee. Cheers to everyone. I appreciate you all dropping. Hi, Sunflower. No, it's not Billy Bird. This is not. I'm here because you guys are here. And like I said, this is a very special stream for me. Because I think this needs to be said. And I'm going to go in even deeper than this. While people keep dropping in, coming in and stuff. This is why in this first part of the stream, I'm going to talk about the people. Like I said, it's the people that make the crops. It's the people that, the farmers and stuff. It's the mechanics that fix the farm equipment. Fix your vehicle, help you fix your vehicle or something like that, or get you the parts so you can actually do work. Get somewhere, get to school, get to work, plow the fields and all that stuff. Because that all matters. Because, if the system starts breaking down, then look what's going on right now with the food supply. What's up, Tex? Hi, Sunflower. All right, Wes. Take care, my friend. It's all good. It's all good. I tried to run the stream at this time. What up, man? Virtual fist bump to you, Tex. Hopefully you're doing good down there. Hopefully you're, like I said, doing good. How do you know it's not? So, yeah. And eventually I'll get into the second, third, and the last part of what I want to talk about. And how people, resources, the environment, environmentalism as a whole, and preparedness is all related in some form or fashion. Because like I said, we're all intertwined here, right? Yeah, exactly, right? Because you gotta go prep for it. Shameless plug in for prep for it. Just kidding. What's up, man? So, like I said, I'm gonna put my coffee this side here, just off camera. All right, because it all matters. Because there's resources out there, right? Don't get me wrong, right? All that stuff, the minerals, the metals. Let's see, what else is there? The refinement of stuff, the crops and all that stuff, all those resources. Well, there's people behind it. Also, just machinery and stuff like that, tools behind all that. But there's also the people behind it that make that go. Even if we had self-driving vehicles, there's probably someone behind that engineering it, putting it together, coming up with the plans to putting it together, or a prototype and stuff like that, right? And of course, until that happens, there's gonna be drivers out there, right? I know a few that drive trucks for a living, right? Company vehicles, 8-wheelers, semis, and all that stuff, right? They help us deliver freight. They help us by delivering freight, supplies, resources that we would need, or want to us. So it's that Amazon driver that, I don't know, mail carrier, right? That mail call that people do, there's people behind that, right? not just the challenge behind it, but the people that are delivering it, bringing it to your doorstep, to your place of residence, are helping you out, right? So, you know, those people are awesome too, right? Like, you know, I see the male person or whatever, I'm like, I wave, right? And they wave back. They see me. They recognize me. They don't know me by name. I don't know them by name, but I wave to them, right? Because they help. You know, they sometimes, unfortunately, they deliver the bills, but I mean, like, some other times they deliver a mail call to me. You know, that Christmas card or something along the lines of that. Just reading, catching up on the chat right here. Yeah, perhaps, right? Prep for it. Because these are my open thoughts right here, right now. Yeah, I'll put that on the screen right here. Yes. And that's I will get into that, by the way. I'm not getting into that. Why did I? What? You know, I could have put economics or something along the lines for E, but the resources are part of that, right? Financial resources too, right? And stuff like that. But I decided to use the environment, environmentalism. That's the word. But yeah, I can get into that too. And I want to make sure, I want to be very clear about this to everyone right here. CR here, me, I'm no saint, right? Here's a piece of plastic right here. Do I do eco minimalism? No. Do I try to reuse stuff? Yes. Am I a perfect preparedness individual? No. But I'm making progress in it, and that's what matters. We need to step forward and make progress. Try to make improvements over time as much as possible. Because right now, right, you don't have to watch the news or anything like that, or gain some info on YouTube or something like that. You can see it in a store. People talk about it every so often, right? Every so often, right? Or your friends or family or coworkers just bring it up and such, right? For example, obviously the price of gas, fuel, right? You know, on the environmental side or something like that, there's that movement out there, right? And I get that. I get it, all right? I understand it, right? You know, you've probably seen the videos out there. Oh, let's just throw this tomato sauce over this painting, over that's covered in plexiglass or whatever, right? I've seen videos like that, right? But sitting in the middle of the road, right, blocking traffic, right? I'm not saying, you know, don't do those things, but you know, what about the people behind it too, right? Like, I know the resources in this planet are important too. What about the people? Because it's kind of hard to convince more people when look what's happening in certain places in the world, right? Water. Let me bring in some water into the screen here, all right? Water, right? H2O, all right? This stuff right here, all right? In preparedness community, right? Filtered, actual water treatment, water purification tablets, right? Bleach, you know, chemical treatment and stuff like that, distillation and all that stuff. Yeah, that's all cool and all, right? But when it comes down to it, if you don't have this stuff, you're hurting. You're hurting. And you're probably like, oh, hey, Sierra, doesn't Canada have lots of fresh water? Yeah, we got a lot of fresh water in this country. But some people up north I don't know if there still are, it might have changed by now, but there was issues with water up north because it was contaminated with something. Where a water filter that I just showed wouldn't cut it. I know things down south in the U.S. right now I think it's still happening in certain places, right? Where, the water looks like coffee. And you're just like, if you saw that, you'd be like, that's a bunch of BS, right? All right. In our modern society, yet some people are going out without water. Boil water advisories, right? And sometimes boiling water doesn't always remember, boiling water will always make something biologically safer. It does not remove the heavy metals, pesticides that are in the water, right? Or heavy metals and stuff like that. For the most part, you need to filter or distill that out. So, water. A very valuable, important resource. We all need that resource. I mean, in the preparedness community, right? This is important. For survival, or survivalism, this is important. Without this, we ain't getting far. No one's getting far. It's not just for consuming purposes, like in your coffee, in your drinks, in your iced tea, your tea, your mixes, you make soups with it, all right? Hydropower, right? Hydroelectric power. Crops, that needs it too. So indirectly, our food needs water too. So like I said, it's not just us. It's, if you're not if the meats that you eat, right? If you're not a vegetarian, right? It's the vegetables that we consume, the gardens that we plant out there, and such. Because without that, you would not see this. Yeah. Because without that water, I'm not getting this. Right? And also, I need the sunlight and soil, right? The soil, the actual earth part of it, right? But really, without this, there's none of that. So we do need clean water, fairly fresh water. Hopefully that's not heavily contaminated, right? Because when, for everyone out there right now, you got a well, you got a tap, yeah. Water somewhat on demand kind of deal, right? But when you don't have it that coming out of a well or at the tap, you'd be concerned. Of course, everyone would be, right? Or a boil water advisory or warning or whatever, right? And I would hope you have some water stored up, right? Just like the food, right? Let me bring this in. I haven't opened this. Well, actually, I did open it. Look, food, peanut butter. Look, right there. Right? Food's important too, obviously, because we need energy to do our activities, right? Food energy, calories, and all the macro and micronutrients and all that other stuff, right? Just coincidence, Billy Bird. Just coincidence. It's probably the shape of the bottle, or what's the shape of the bottle. Yeah. Yeah, straight up prep for it, right? Right. People need water. Pets need the water. Your garden needs the water. Yeah, yeah, that too, right? I'm just saying, all right, all right. The 420 community out there, right? Remember, your that needs water too, right? We all need it. Don't take it for granted. Maybe this planet, right, has like 3/4 of the area is covered with water. 97% of that, give or take, is covered with salt water. It's salt water, right? Oceans, you know, where your kind of off the shelf water filters not done filtered it out. You know, 2% or less, maybe now, right, is locked up in ice, right? And 1% or less is fresh water. Like that salt water, like I said, look what happened down south in like Florida. YouTubers that were going down there, right? They actually had to bring water too, because some people they had filters or whatever, but they couldn't do filter out the most important thing, the sodium, the salts out of it, right? They could filter out the microbes and maybe even the viruses and all this other stuff, right? Maybe even heavy metals and stuff like that. Make the water taste better through like activated carbon filters, right? But some of them didn't have something like how do I say, desalination, reverse osmosis. It's expensive and it requires energy to do. Like there's places out on the African continent right now, in general, not all places, right, where they don't have fresh water on the surface anymore. Uh, Underground aquifers are getting smaller and smaller, right? And it's not getting replenished fast enough. So they gotta rely on reverse osmosis or desalination, and that takes energy. And then there's the brine that left over and stuff like that. And yes, I've been watching videos like these because I know it matters too. Maybe it's not that desalination's not gonna happen here in Canada, but there's other things that are important too, right? Like I said, the water and all that stuff. So continuing on here, let me scroll back up on my chat here. I do appreciate all you people dropping in on this stream for me. I'm just kind of laying it out, giving my thoughts, right? I'm not trying to rant so much, but give you guys something that I've been considering for a long, long time now. When I say a long time, it's been a long time. Still remember things I did when I was younger. Try to do and stuff like that. Try to set up during school and all that stuff. I still remember that. So I would hope my teacher would be enjoy what I'm trying to do right now. Because I think, like I said, it matters. And that's why I'm doing it. Like I said, you don't have clear, fresh, clean water. That's it, right? Only a few days out or less. In extreme heat, less. And stuff like that. A few days, generally speaking. And even before a few days is up, you're going to get dehydrated, heat exhaustion, right? Your body might actually shut down because of the lack of water, clean water in your system, or a lack of water in your system, right? It's a thing. It does happen, and it is. And unfortunately, some countries out there, right? Some of these people, Some people, you know, this is a luxury to have bottled water. You know, some of us that can access bottled water, right? You know, or have a well, a tap that has, you know, fairly clean water in comparison to, you know, surface water and stuff like that. That's just like a little trickle. That that they gotta go like 5, 6 miles, kilometers away to go get, right? And stuff like that. You know, they're carrying it on their shoulders or they're rolling it, right? I've seen those water barrels that roll. Obviously, they're much more effective because they don't have less energy needed, but you still got to do the walking. Even if you have something like convenience or something like that, it'd still be an effort, right? Because obviously water weighs about like just over 8 pounds per gallon, and 8.8 gallons or something like that. I've had some coffee, so there is water in that too. I had soup earlier too, because it was colder out today. So, and the coffee I'm drinking right now. Think about sanitation, the water that you flush with, right? Things like that. Yeah. Oh, by the way, speak of sanitation, I've used gray water to flush with before. Yeah, I've done it before. I don't mind. I really don't mind. Really, I really don't mind. Multiple reasons, right? Conserves drinkable fresh water, and I get to reuse gray water. And so, let's say you're washing vegetables or whatever, right? You know, you gather that water and such. You're probably like, oh, Sierra, I don't have any water restrictions out here. Yeah, okay, that's one. You might be you might be one in the more lucky areas at the moment. Some areas, look at on the southwest side of the U.S., right, where water rationing is a thing, restrictions, right, and reusing gray water. Because there's a lot of benefits to reusing gray water. For example, like in terms of flushing, for example, you're not using fresh water, clean water to flush with, and you can still consume that clean water initially, right, and put it in your system and such. You know, let's say you got a toilet, whatever, right? You know, those low flush or reduced amount of water per flush or whatever, right? You know, they help. I mean, if you gotta pay for that water, if you're using less of it, that'll help your pocketbook, so to speak, right? Look at, I mean, I'm not even getting into like power yet, right? Fuel, energy, right? Things like lighting, right? Yeah, of course I'm using lighting right now, right? Obviously to do the stream, internet access to like stream with, right? A Wi-Fi router, Wi-Fi extender, a laptop to like see the side chat, right? I appreciate it all. Yeah, that too prep work, right? They'll try, but you know, if they're gonna ration it or whatever, sometimes it's like, you know, yeah, unfortunately. And unfortunately, some people lose their homes due to forest fires, right? Unfortunately, right? Some people have. There's YouTubers out there, right? Even some famous YouTubers that have house fires, right? Things that have happened, right? There are YouTubers that have had close calls and stuff like that, where, they're away on a business trip and their family members are telling them there's a fire nearby, and yeah, right? It's very dicey, right? Fire, you know, is a very double-edged sword. It helps us in the for survivalism, right, and stuff like that, and even in general preparedness, right? People talk about fire. Fire boils your water, makes it biologically safe to drink, or at least safer to drink. Can cook your food, right? Signal with, gives you light, drive insects and bugs away, keeps you warm, right? But it's a double-edged sword, like I've said in this other live stream that I did about the light and the dark side of fire. Fire also can burn a house. You can get literally burnt out to where you have to leave, right? Especially if that fire is accidental and someone leaves the door open and lets it spread more, and then it's a very tall building, skyscraper. Well, I shouldn't say skyscraper, but apartment building. Not a lot of fire escapes, right? That apartment fire is down lower on the 4th floor, and you're living on the top of the 10th, 15th floor. Yeah, you don't need all the light you can. Hopefully, you're prepared for that, just in case that happens, and such. That's a real thing that happened too. I remember. Wasn't that? I think that was last year or the year before. It was either late 2020 or early 2021. I think that was in New York or something like that. Right? Very terrible act. Very terrible thing. It was, you're probably like, well, I can run by fire or get by it or whatever, or I'm wearing protective clothing or whatever that won't burn. I'm wearing wool or something like that. Well, yeah, well, it's not it's not usually the fire that gets to people. It's that smoke, right? Because it displaces the oxygen in the air, and you get overcome by smoke insulation, inhaling it, right? And basically you'll just pass out. It's just like, a very fast version or extreme case of like CO2 poisoning. Might as well be CO2, CO, carbon monoxide type of poisoning. It might as well be the same thing, right? Because there's no oxygen, or very small amounts. So basically you just get tired and literally just pass out there, right? And then the next thing you know, that's it. You're done. Unfortunately. And those things happen. Night, Builder. I do appreciate everyone hearing me out, by the way. Hi, Vanessa Kitty. Hi, Vanessa Kitty. Thank you for dropping in, my friend. Like I said, people, resources, the environment that we live in, right? And preparedness, survivalism, right? All are interconnected. And going beyond just surviving, but thriving. And maybe even something more sustainable in the long term, right? So you're not just thinking 1 or 2 years or 3 or 4 years in advance, ahead, but maybe 8, 10, and such. Now, an example of this would be, like right now, what's happening in Europe right now? There's fuel crisis, heating, natural gas, all that stuff, right? So people are turning into fireplaces, right? Nothing wrong with fireplaces, using wood. But let's remember here. What happens if this keeps going on? Well, next year, the year after, right? And so forth, right? It might be even more expensive, harder to come by. I'm hoping, and I really do hope, that people are trying to grow the fuel per se, right? Get more trees growing out there too. So there is a supply later on, right? Because if everyone uses the wood, what's gonna happen? Deforestation. And that's the thing too, right? Deforestation's a thing too, right? Look at the Amazon. A lot of more places are getting thinned out, right? So let's say you can gain access on wood for your fireplace on your property. Yeah. Excuse me. If you're chopping something down, try to plant something too. That way, because wood burning in terms of for cooking or for heating, right? That's a very old school method of heating and cooking. It's not renewable. Remember that. It's not renewable. It's recoverable. As in, it takes time for the tree to develop. So hopefully, try to plant a tree too, right? Use the wood. I'm not saying don't use the wood to stay warm, right? You want to survive, right? Survivability. But look at sustainability too, right? Where you're putting another tree out there. You took one down, you're putting another one back up, kind of deal, right? It's just like rotating food stock, right? You take one out, you put a new one back in, right? Kind of deal. Yeah. Well, Vanessa Kitty, I hope you're planting. I mean, I hope you're planting trees too. I'm not trying to like, how do I say you guys wrong or anything like that. I'm just kind of looking in terms of like as a whole, right? So not just the short term, but the long term too, right? Because right now, everyone's thinking about the winter, right? Well, what happens if things, hypothetically speaking, don't get better in the new year and in the summer? And we got to return back to this in the next winter again, or afterwards too, right? We need something hopefully sustainable, hopefully, right? Hopefully, where you can give some time for it to rebound back, like where the trees can hopefully come back. Because it doesn't matter how much forest you have out there, right? Acres and acres, dozens and dozens of trees, right? Eventually, you can consume that all the way down if you don't make sure that it gets replenished, which is like water. Yeah, there's underground aquifers, right? But if you don't replenish that, it's just just a matter of time before that resources dwindles down to almost next to nothing. So this is why resources is number 2 on as the words here. And people are there, right? I'm hoping this makes sense. Yes, exactly, Vanessa, right? Try. I mean, like, I say try, right? Try. The best you can, right? Obviously, something like a rocket stove that, I can use twigs and sticks are probably a little bit better. But obviously, that's not going to heat up a whole room or whole house or whatever, right? Or you're going to burn logs, per se, to really liberate the heat. Because I can just imagine right now, like, if wood is X amount of dollars or European currency or whatever out there, if we're still going through this next year at this time, I could just imagine the price is like going to be like way higher, right? Way higher. And people would have thought of everything already that they already thought of now, right? Stuff like that. Anyways, continuing on here. Let's see. Yeah, so electrical systems are not currently sustainable for all electric living. Yeah, exactly, right? Because we're realizing that the system's not really sustainable because it's starting to break down, so to speak, right? Metaphorically and literally breaking down, or there isn't enough fuel or anything to go around all the way. I mean, right now I'm only using one light and just a laptop and the camera, and a phone. Obviously, there's a few other things, right? But I don't have like, oh, this. Hey, let's just leave this light on in the room that uses, let's say, 20 watts or whatever. When I'm not even in the room, I'm not even going in the room, right? If I need to see in that room, I might as well just bring a solar light. Yes, and I do have a solar light right here. See? Look, solar light right here. It doesn't have a on and off, but it does have a sensor. So I'm just putting it by my lamp. So basically, it's just not done turn on right now. However, let's say if I lost power right now, whatever, I instantly can just reach for it, turn it over, and it's not glow. For example. Really prep for it? That's very cool, by the way. I just want to highlight that. Right? That philosophy of using every part of the animal, right? That kind of deal, right? It's very similar to something like that, right? Using every part of the resource too, right? And trying to minimize the waste. Because remember, we all create waste. One way or another, we all create waste. It's a byproduct of what we do. Biologically and physically, right? And I'm not just talking about, oh, here's this wrapper, right? Or sanitation. There's other little things too, right? We wash our hands, right? Look what happened during the medical thing, 2020, right? Lots of people were washing their hands, so people were washing their hands a lot more. You know what I did? I put it in. I washed my hands. I had a little tub or container underneath the sink to gather the gray water. Reused it in terms of for gray water uses, right? Wasn't that complicated? Saved a little bit in terms of the clean water for use and a water bill, right? Let's say you had a well or aquifer or whatever, you'd be using less of it or trying to use less of it, right? So. Oh, okay. Yeah, you got that, Vanessa Kitty? Okay. I know a lot of people that, and you're diversifying too, right? Something like a wood fireplace will get you by in the season if you really had to, right? But you also realize that, firewood is a finite resource too. It's more recoverable, but remember, it's not renewable like solar, wind, that kind of energy sources. Hydro, probably I could go on and on, right? Tidal, blah, 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 geothermal, but obviously you need the infrastructure in the first place and stuff, right? If in the middle of the winter time, you're probably not getting so much solar. The wind might be not existing, right? Tidal, well, I'm too far away from the ocean. They're not the pump the power over here, right? Geothermal, I don't live along the Pacific Rim or the Ring of Fire or something like that, or along tectonic plates, right, and stuff like that, where there isn't enough. And hydro, well, the lake's frozen, the water's frozen, right? That's why lately I've been more of a hybrid type of model, right? A hybrid vehicle type of thing, right? I have both. I would have both, right? The electric part, right? Is so, day to day or whatever, right? But the gasoline proportion would be for emergency use or, duration and stuff like that. But that's what I would do at the moment, right? Because the people that are saying, I'm gonna play devil's advocate and talk about both sides of the equation here. Well, I don't want solar. I don't want wind, or whatever, right? EMP or something like that. My gasoline vehicle all the way, or natural gas, right? Remember that those are finite resources. And then on the opposite side of the equation, right? Oh, you're burning all this stuff, blah blah blah, blah blah, carbon dioxide, blah blah blah, smog, and all that stuff, right? Yeah, well, that's like talking about survivability and sustainability, right? I'm kind of trying to be in the middle of it, a hybrid, right? I'm trying to use more renewable sources as much as possible and kind of thin out these other resources because I know those are finite. However, I want to have those finite resources like let's say propane gas, right? As at least for an emergency situation, right? Where you know, the, let's say the grid's down, the solar panels got ruined or destroyed or whatever, I can dip back down to something like wood, for example, right? If I had to, I wouldn't want to, but at that time, at that situation, sustainability has to take a back door because right now I'm in survival mode, or at that time I would be in survival mode. So, to something. Hi, Huga. Hi, James. I see you both in there. You guys are talking really fast, so fast I can't even keep up. CB, James, I do appreciate you all dropping in and hearing me out, right? I'm gonna, because right now I've been seeing so much out there, right? That division too, right? Of, oh, hey, you're blah blah blah, right? Or the other side, oh, you're burning too much, blah blah blah, right? I'm trying to understand it, right? That's why I wouldn't say on the fence, but hybrid model, right? I'd be like, here's an electric vehicle that has like a little hybrid vehicle, right? So most of the time I'll use that electricity, right? Blah blah blah. Hopefully it would come from a green source, blah blah blah, and all that stuff. But the gasoline part is so in an emergency, I can't charge up that electric vehicle. Oh, I have an alternative means of fuel source for that time when I actually need it. That's how I would go about it right now. Until things got better, like the infrastructure and all that stuff, right? Anyways, let's keep going on here. Hey Penny, I see you in there. Sorry, I see you guys. It's because I'm talking too. So let me see here. Let's see if I got a highlight in the comments in there. Sorry if I missed some of the comments. I have my laptop open so I can actually see the comments. So if I don't highlight, sorry. Let's see here. Okay, I'm just reading some of the messages that Vanessa Kitty said. Hi, James. Huga, yeah. Okay, Vanessa, I hear you there. Okay. Oh, you can't have windmills there. Yeah, I mean windmills. Yeah, right. Usually they need the height. Usually, right. Hydro, you usually need quite a bit of large body of water. You know, something like tidal power, right? You're gonna be close enough to like some big body of water, a lake, a river, an ocean, and right. Solar, well, it's gotta be sunny enough, right? It's gotta be sunny enough. I see you in there. I see you in there, penny pinching. No new wells can be drilled. Let me see right here. Where is that? Oh, it's in there anyways. You can see it in the side chat. I really appreciate you people dropping in and hearing me out, right? I want to really readdress this again. I am not no saint. Look, I have a piece of plastic right here. Look, but this is a tool useful for preparedness, right? A tool, right? I'll be using this for a bit, right? Maybe in time I'll reuse it too if I had to, right? So on that, all right. I'm trying to do what I can, right? But I also realize I still have to like survive too, right? And hopefully in time I can do things that are more sustainable in the long run. I'm behind the camera. It's because I have something behind me, that's why. There's certain little things I have in the background. But I am here, by the way. Alright. I'll just put the water right here for a moment here. Because that's important too. Oh. Let's just randomly put what about the brand here? Let's see our word, right? Some food right here. Cranberries song. Alright, food. Right? I know you guys in the US are like next month's Thanksgiving for you guys in the US. Right? I didn't use this for this year, though, but I'm not just gonna throw this out because I didn't use it this year. It's so good. Right? Don't waste food, right? Try not to waste food. Try. I say try. That's another thing too. I've been noticing too. Wasting of food, right? Unfortunately. I've seen videos out there where I'm just like, and I shared it with some of you out there. You're like, there is this video out there. Now, I'm not going to say specifically where, but if you see it, excuse me, YouTube search it and stuff about oranges. Bunch of oranges being just dumped, right? It's because they have cosmetic on the outside of their skin, right? The people that did the video and such, right? The farmers and stuff like that, they cut it open. The orange is still fine on the inside. It's not like it's not like a worm's gone all the way through or something like that, or it's just because the hail damage on the outside didn't affect the fruit on the inside, right? But the stores that the farmers wanted to sell it to or give it to, they're like, no, we can't sell it. I'm like, what? And they're like, what? Right? And it gets returned back to the farmer. So the farmer ends up having to do something with it, right? So they're composting it, burying it, and stuff like that. And it's just like, it just grinds my gears about that. Now, some of the farmers are managing to like sell it for orange juice, but that has a lower profit compared to selling it as a whole orange. But I was just thinking to myself, I'm like, well, I'm not getting that per se 100% profit, but maybe 30%. It's still better than zero, right? That's still better than like, let's just grow all these oranges and just because the skin looks kind of dented or whatever cosmetically on the outside. The fruit's still good on the inside, but we can't sell it. Let's just pretty much dump it, right? In an open field. Like literally hundreds and hundreds of oranges. I saw it came in my feed. I was just looking on my homepage on the YouTube side. I was just like, really, really, we're wasting food like that right now, right? And everyone knows about the food prices going up and all that stuff. Yet stuff like that still existing right now, unfortunately, right? That's a lot of vitamin C in those oranges. That's a lot of orange juice. Maybe even some other things that people can do with that, right? Even before you recover that resource in terms of composting it and stuff like that. Yeah, penny pitching. Oh, shoot. Hold on. I thought I had my phone charging. Hold on a sec, people. Oops, sorry. Hold on a sec. Excuse me. Sorry. I can't see my battery indicator when I'm in the screen. And I'm thinking this, I had this. Oh, you're down to 20%. See, how am I? Okay. Yeah, you saw like solar things off to the side here. Anyways, thank goodness I'm checking on this. Just give me. I'm just not disable the camera for a moment. It's because I need to actually charge up the battery. Right? Hold on. Sorry. I gotta let my battery charge on this phone here. All right, I'll show some more in a moment. I just need to let it charge up some more. But I will show some of the text here that you guys are typing out here. I appreciate that, CP. Yeah. Yeah, the solar is kind of saving you money in the long run, right? And that's a long run gain, right? You're not gonna get the benefits right away, but in time, whatever the payback period is, right? 7, 8 years, right? And yes, penny pinching, yes, as long as the batteries can get you through in the evening, the night. And remember, as we're coming into closer to the winter solstice, the longest night of the year, the shortest day of the year, right? That's not matter. Obviously, in the summertime, that's gonna be you're probably not gonna get by because there's not less daylight. I mean, less darkness, more daylight. Yes, I agree with that too. Well, maybe I'll change that eventually. Penny pinching. Okay, okay. Or use it more sparingly, all right? You use it sparingly. You don't use it like you don't run high end devices, right? You kind of reduce your output or requirement of it as much as you can to bare bones, absolute necessities, right? And stuff like that. Instead of like, oh, I want toast. No, 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 no. That's too much for the toaster, right? Just eat the bread, right? That kind of thing. Yeah, I'll get into that in a moment. Penny pinching, I see you in some of your comments. Let's see. Yeah, you can only use the electricity you can produce at that time. Yeah, right. Kind of reduce your consumption a little, as much as you can. The bare necessities, the most important things, right? It's, as much as possible. And some people have already learned that lesson too, right? Where they're like, I can't run both AC and the fridge and the freezer, all of them at the same time. So they chose the freezer and their fridge over AC because they could still make ice. I was like, yeah, that's probably a choice I would make too. All right, I would make that judgment call. So now I think they're trying to increase their amount of power that they can generate, so they could run that AC. Not necessarily for them, because they were fine, the person, but their pets and stuff like that, right? They had. So. Yeah, I get what you mean right there, Vanessa Kitty. you guys all love cranberries. Yeah, cranberries are awesome, aren't they? What about using it? Yeah, I know you mean peels, not peels. You mean peels, not peelings, not pills. See, I couldn't even say it myself. Okay, peels alone. So yeah, cleaning products. Yeah, they could have went a downstream kind of venture, not directly selling it in terms of upstream thing like oranges that you consume and stuff like that, but downstream options, right? Maybe they would have made less, right? But hey, I'd rather make a little bit less than not make anything at all. Yeah, maybe you won't break even, but you're not going to take a terrible, terrible loss. I would have 30%, like make $30 than make no dollars at all. But that's just me. But yeah, I get what you mean there. Because I was just thinking there's a lot of things that could have potentially been done with it. Sometimes you just gotta find another revenue source, right? And their source, diversify a bit, right? So if the main option's not available, you can go back to a plan B. Maybe you take a hit in terms of profit loss, but it's better to make some profit than none at all, in my opinion, anyways. Okay. Yeah, that's all good, CB. That's all good. I understand. I understand. Wow. I guess I'm giving you. I guess I'm in warm company. I'm giving you guys all warm company right now. What's just in a blanket right now? And see, that's another thing, right? Have those blankets, right? I've blankets. I have blankets. Sorry, I didn't realize I hit mute by accident. Hopefully, everyone saw me there. Okay, because I got to put my phone back into portrait portrait mode so I can see it charging. I'm down to 11%. I thought it was charging, and then I'm like, no. Then my battery indicator came up. I'm like, okay, so I gotta do this for now. Sorry, everyone. Sorry. Yeah, Vanessa, they actually some of them did, but the profit margin isn't as high as selling whole oranges. Because when you sell whole oranges, you just have to ship it, maybe wash it or whatever, right? It gets sold. Juicing, there's processing, right? You got to process it. It's got to go through, right? To break all the oranges, squeeze it, right? Squeeze out the pulp and all this other stuff, right? I'm not saying they couldn't do that, but the profit margin's a little less. I was just like, well, like I said, I'd rather take $30 than no dollars, right? Maybe it's not that $100 per se, but 30 is still better than zero. Not as good as 100, but still better than zero. But I get what you mean. Yeah, you're using two blankets. Yeah, that's cool. Right, that's preparedness, right? You have shelter elements, right? Cover elements. So those fireplaces, that heater, the furnace, whatever you're using, you don't have to turn it up all the way. You can reduce the amount of fuel you use, reduce that much. because it's just enough to cut the edge, right? Or, keep the pipes from freezing, all that stuff, right? But you don't need to like be inside in the sauna, right? Because most people sleep with covers, blanket, and stuff like that. So blankets are, like I said, blankets and pillows too, and all that stuff. They're a form of shelter. They are a form of shelter and cover. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what I thought too. I mean, usually, well, if you think about it, it's a large amount. It's not just one orange, right? If it was one orange over a whole bed, it probably wouldn't be that bad. But it's a lot of oranges, right? So yeah, that's a lot right there. And that probably attracted like things like wasp and stuff like that, certain insects like that, that like that. Probably the birds too, right? Seagulls and stuff like that probably attracted that too. Yeah, because they had no way of storing it, and they got to get rid of it, right? So it's a hard choice, unfortunately, right? Either way, it was probably a hard choice, right? I just it just kind of broke my heart seeing food being wasted. You know, even though it was just oranges, right? You can't survive on oranges long, but I mean, like, there's some vitamin C in there, right? And stuff like that. So yeah, do you? Speak of which, I'm not. Hold on, hold on a sec. I keep forgetting. Let's see. It's time to bring this other one back in, or not. I'm trying to bring this other avatar in. This one. This is the same avatar that you see in the thumbnail. It has representations of what I'm talking about here. So water, fire, trees, right? And of course, the air and all that stuff. Yes. Oh, Penny. I mean, I got blanket on the couch in our room. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And I mean, it's not even per se cold yet, right? Yeah, I got blankets. I got blankets because I'm a big proponent of actually having shelter elements. You know, ways to passively stay warm with. Like something like fire. Honestly, it can dry you out, warm you up, right? But it's the different. It's like having a campfire that you have to sit around, right? Your back's gonna get cold, right? But if you had shelter around you, right, elements like a blanket and such, your back would still be warm, but you might be able to get by with less fuel. Use it less fuel, less of the resource like wood, for example, right? Maybe you can get by with a degree or less on the furnace or something like that, right? Where you don't have to set it all the way up to 70 Fahrenheit. Maybe you can get by at 64, for example, right? Maybe cut some of that electrical on your electricity bill, for example, say fuel and all that stuff, because you're using. It's just like you know, how do I say, insulation, right? Holding back the heat, because obviously heat travels from hot to cold. So in our homes and stuff like that, from the inside of our homes to the outside, it always wants to exit. Insulation, barriers, right? Something like triple pane glass windows, vapor barriers, the plastic sheeting. It's all under barrier for the heat, so it takes it longer to escape out. So hopefully, you retain the heat that where you want it, inside or next to our bodies, right? And stuff like that. Hence, things like blankets help because microclimates and stuff like that. Like in the survival and preparedness community, you hear about like microclimates and stuff like that. Yeah, it's a really important thing to remember. Like the people in Texas last year during snow event down there, people were in one room, isolated to one room, right? Everyone stayed in one room, so body heat in one room. Made some sort of blanket for I shouldn't say tree fort, couch fort, table fort, and all that stuff, right? Yeah. It's just like a tent retains a little bit of heat and stuff like that. More layers from the outside temperature, microclimate, because smaller spaces are easier to warm up than larger spaces. So something like a single room would probably be better, maybe better than a living room, for example. Or maybe you migrate to a kitchen because you might cook in there, right? Something like that. Let's say, you don't have secondary heat sources or something like that. Your furnace isn't running. Like, and you don't need a power outage, for example, or something along the lines of that for your heat not to work. Sometimes it can be as simple as, hell, why isn't the furnace running? It can happen. I know it can happen. I've seen it happen before to people. They had electricity, furnace isn't running. And it was like 0 Fahrenheit. You could see the breath inside. Like, I remember because it was someone I knew, right? One of the first things I did, because I came over there, right? I was obviously dressed for the winter because it was wintertime. But I'm like, well, they got electricity. Then I'm like, well, they drink soda pop, right? 2-liter bottles. I'm like, you got access to water, right? Yeah. Is your stove still working? They're like, yeah. So what's the first thing I did? I heated up water. And indirectly used that electricity to stay warm, even without the furnace. The hot water heaters, right? And it bought them some time. It was more like, so no one was shivering. Your feet were warm, right? Buy you a couple more hours, right? Stuff like that. Buy you some time. Those hot water heaters, right? Stuff like that. Because you see in those videos, you see people huddling around a fire, right? Staying warm. They got blankets over top of them, over their shoulders, right? Shelter elements, cover elements, right? I would have been like not only using the fire to keep warm, but I would have been like heating up water, indirectly using the fire to stay warm by using something like what's that called? What's the word I'm looking for? A thermal heat mass, right? Yeah, a thermal heat mass, using that water to indirectly stay warm with, because it's hot water. Obviously, it goes without saying, don't get wet when you're cold, right? So that goes without saying, right? You like that soda tar? Yeah, Penny. I mean, see, I got to charge up my battery. See, speak of which, see, I actually have. Hold on. I'll indirectly show this. See, I gotta pull it off the tripod. I actually brought some stage props out, so I will show a few little things here. Just gotta make sure I'm facing back again, just to show as an example here. Look, like these. I got these too. I would not want to use them, but I can. And also, these work better with insulation backing them up and redirect the heat all into the person using them, into my hands or whatever, back, whatever, right? Beside my kidney or whatever, a little spot in the back of your neck or whatever, right? and that just, open them up and break it open and, start that exothermic reaction of releasing the heat, right? And just put it in the air. No, I want to direct it into me. That's where I need it. Well, I don't know about that, Fuga. I've been reading more about this now, a little bit more. I didn't realize it said I could store it for up to a year. I'm like, what? Really? I can actually, without anything like refrigeration or anything like that. All right. I was like, I gotta look into that a lot more. Really find out a lot more, right? Because, like I said, I'm just learning how to do that portion of, the food thing, right? So I'm just like, it would be nice to know about that. Maybe not know by reading, but actually going through the process of the experience of it, right? And knowing for myself. Because I know they say if it starts tasting sour or something like that, it's done, right? It's rancid or something like that. But as long as it can still taste like a sunflower, I guess it's still good, right? The nutty flavor, yeah, you're still good. So I'm trying to read up upon it too. Yeah, there's videos out there, right? But I want to know it, and see it, smell it, taste it with my own eyes, nose, and mouth. Yeah. Yeah, exactly, right. Because you're doing two things at the same time, right? You're multitasking with that heat. For the same reason why people don't like to turn on an oven in the summer. It's the opposite reason why they want to turn it on in the winter, kind of deal, right? I guess maybe this is why we have things like Thanksgiving and Christmas in the winter time more, right? If you think about it, right? You think about things like turkeys, hams, things in the oven, breads, all that stuff, right? Yeah, because you would get a lot more out of it, right? Your place would be a little bit warmer, and you're baking or cooking or something along the lines of that. Yeah, you got that too. Yeah, I think, Penny, that's a very important thing to remember. I see. There is this video that I posted. When did I post that? 2017, 2018. Some outdoor adventure I went to. You can see there's an ice wall and all that stuff. What you didn't see in that video because I didn't mention it much, that my feet were getting cold. We were outside, right? Literally for a whole weekend, right? Quote unquote, uh, sheltered, right? We had a solar panel with solar lighting on the inside, wood fireplace, right? Part of the system, right? And stuff like that. But my feet were kind of cold, right? So indirectly, I put what, because I remember to bring one of my, like, we weren't that far from shore, and really we weren't even that far from my buddy's place, but I did bring a small kit with me. One of the more important things in that kit was a metal container. So literally, I'm scooping up the lake water, putting it on the stove, the cast iron stove at that time. It's burning wood, right, to keep us warm out there, obviously, right, and indirectly using fire to keep my feet warm. And literally, the bottles that we had are because we had other people dropping in and out, right? So there was deposit and all that stuff like bottles. So basically, I would fill the bottles up and just put it on the ground, and just roll my feet over top of it. I warmed up my feet. They gave me something to warm up my feet with. So a metal container, right? It's just like people with canteens, a metal container, right? One of the 5 C's of survivability too, right? A metal container. Oh, a container. Or the metal one, you could heat up water in, right? I used it. It was like one of the best things I brought. It was one of the best things I brought. I was just like, it it just made my feet so much warmer, right? It gave me some circulation back in my feet because my feet were getting cold. Because, well, I was wearing rubber boots more than winter boots because it was hovering around the freezing point, right? So there was some melting during the day and all that stuff. And we literally, if you see the video, there's like a moat. We developed a moat around the shelter. I was just like, yeah. So, and of course, we were out in the snow and playing in the snow too. So, yeah, that's why I wore rubber boots over winter boots. So, but rubber boots weren't that insulated. Yeah, and I wore one pair of socks. So I was just like, well, I gotta do what I gotta do, right? So I'm just like, okay. Instead of sticking my feet up and people looking at me like, "Sir, don't do that," right? I heated up some water, indirectly used the fire to keep my feet warm. But yeah, it's that same idea. Hey, Bob, what's up, Bob? How's it going, man? Shout out to Bob right here, 942. I saw your last video. I won't. He's trying to be more organic. Add biodiversity to his backyard. I'll let everyone see that video, but yeah, I saw that video, Bob. That's great that you're trying to do that. I'm not trying to spoil it so people can go watch it. But it's nice to see you, man. Oh, I'm still talking. Man. It's all good, man. It's all good. If I have issues or whatever, I'll say it. Or I'll remove it. I'll be straight up about it. Hey, what's up, P2E? It's P2E. How's it going, man? It's nice to see you. See, I can really... Okay. You guys got to remind me to keep an eye out on my phone because I didn't, and I dropped back down to 12. Memo to self. Make sure my phone's charged. This is why I'm not putting out the video right now. Earlier on, I had the video on, but I didn't realize it wasn't charging. It must have slipped out or whatever. It wasn't charging, and then I get the little battery indicator, and now I'm under that 20% mark on the phone. And if I run the video, I know it's not just going to go fast. So, sorry. This is why I'm not showing much in the way of video right now, and this is why it's only my icon on the screen right now, because I need to charge up the device back up. Yeah. Sorry. I'll try to show a few things every so often if I can. I just need the battery to pick back up a little bit more. Because right now I even have the display turned down all the way down. So, yeah. I'm trying to make it work. Yeah, nice to see you, Bob. Yeah. Where was I going with this? So, yeah, water is important. I mean, there's a few stories right there on water, right? I mean, Bob can agree with me on this. You know, he likes his coffee. I like my coffee too. Other people like their coffee. You want coffee? Liquid coffee? You probably don't need water, right? You don't need to heat up some water and something like that, right? If it's not through a coffee maker, maybe something more like a percolator or a French press, right? Something like that. I got a French press too, or percolator, but I like using it. I know lots of people like using it. Stuff like that, right? You might have a metal one that you use for camping purposes, right? Something like that is quite useful because it doesn't. You just need hot water, which you can source through different means like solar or heating it up with rocket stove. Maybe you can heat water hot enough for coffee, providing it's already sanitary and clean with candles. I'm just thinking of what Bob has and seeing some of these videos, right? You're not going to be able to get a rolling boil for candles, right? Obviously. Right? If it's clean water already, you just need to heat it up so for tea or something like that. You might be able to do that. Because something like a coffee maker, yeah, it's automatic. And obviously, you got to find that resource like coffee filters, but it uses electricity, right? To run the pump, to pump the water into it and all that stuff, right? And obviously, sometimes these coffee filters, these coffee makers, right? Why is my phone on? Ah, okay, hold on. I'm gonna change back to another thing here. Hold on. Gotta make sure my. All right, I'm gonna use the battery bank. Sorry. I know. If I showed you guys, I'm at 11%. See, every time I'm like now looking at the screen, I'm like, oh, it's not charging yet. But yeah, sometimes those pumps on those coffee makers, they stop working too. So having a redundant source of for making coffee, a way to make coffee in the morning or whatever, might be useful. Not because it's a blackout or the power's down or there's no electricity in your house or building. It's just simply because your coffee maker that you like to use because it's convenient, all that stuff, the pump's not working. I've seen that happen. I've seen that happen with a friend before, right? Luckily enough, he had something that we could improvise to still get coffee. Some sort of way to filter it and stuff like that. It was meant for tea, but I was just like, yeah, thank goodness you had that. And he's like, yeah, Sierra, yeah, you're right. Or else we wouldn't have had coffee next few days. So having stuff like that you like to use, maybe it's camping stuff or whatever, it's handy. So yeah. Okay, you guys are talking to each other. All right, cool. So, like I said, I do appreciate you all dropping in on the stream. How long? And 90 minutes. Okay. Yeah, I figured you can go. There's a few other things I want to touch base on, anyways. Sort of touch based on the power thing and stuff like that. I mean, sometimes. Well, I'll show you guys real quick here. Sorry, I'm holding my phone in portrait mode. Sorry, so the image is gonna be in portrait. So yeah, one of these, right? Brand's not as important. It's what you can do, right? Well, I'm not gonna turn this on, but honestly, a light source, right? Welcome back, Sunflower. I got something like that. All right. I was actually just sitting laying down watching some videos or whatever. Instead of turning a light on, I just used this as a light. I was like, it was just enough so I could see. But I'm like, oh look, ran there for a couple hours. I'm like, oh, all right. So I could be doing something. Obviously, it's not as strong as what I'm using right here, obviously. But if I was like, depending on the situation, I could be using that, like in the washroom or something like that. And obviously, I could hold it in my hands if I really had to. Obviously, it's not hands-free or anything like that, but for something more stationary, stuff like that. I know, right? Let me highlight that straight up. I mean, think about it, right? If that type of technology existed, I can always hear about certain little things. I'm like, well, it's not coming into mainstream yet, right? Or it's only available in certain countries, or it's not available in North America yet, right? And so it's like, how long did we have to wait? I heard about this like 6 years ago, and I'm still waiting to see it hit mainstream more, right? Yay, the sunflower's back. Okay. This time around, I'm making sure I'm paying attention to my phone. Okay, 14%. All right. Let me have a sip of coffee here. Like I said, I'm not saying I practice equal minimalism and stuff like that, but I try to reduce my consumption because a lot of times it's not just doing it for the environment; it's actually saving the wallet, right? Saving the money too, right? Because right now, look what's happening right now. Food prices are increasing, gas prices are increasing, wages are not increasing proportionally to that increase. So our buying power is a little less. You know, it may seem like, oh, you're doing a lot of work there, right? But I'm hoping it would save something in the long run. Like, if Bob's still here, right? I mean, like, I remember Bob saying something like, well, the money I'm saving, not having to buy the new materials for this, I can buy another can of beans, for example. So I'm looking at it like that, right? You know, maybe I'm saving a couple cents, but hopefully there'll be enough that I can build it out to, oh, I saved another dollar or two. Oh, hey, I can buy. There's that extra bag of ramen noodles or extra can of beans that I can put on the shelf, for example, and reallocate those funds towards something else, and kind of make it stretch a little bit more, right? Get more bang for the buck, as they say. And what's up, Tennessee Tactical? How are you doing, man? Thank you for taking the time to drop in. Yeah, I know, right? Don't worry, I'm paying attention now a lot more. I'm trying to not because I'm used to talking. You know how people before the age of cellular communication, smartphones, right? Even before the age of flip phones, right? Landlines, right? So I'm used to holding a phone, like, you know what I mean, in that position. So sometimes I forget to look at the screen. Don't worry, I'm paying attention this time. Thanks for reminding me. Yeah, maybe. It's charging. I'm bringing it back up. Don't worry. A hand crank phone charger can be used more than just your phone. Oh yeah, of course, right. Obviously, since it's USB, right, you'll be able to charge cameras, tablets to a certain degree. Remember, even with like large scale solar, right, roof solar and all that stuff, solar battery banks. This is the one that I showed. It's not the solar option is more like a maintainer for the batteries. The batteries are actually providing that consistent power to your device, if that makes any sense. So it's proportional. Yes, I can charge something for this, but it'll take longer. And then, sorry, I got derailed by a message by someone. Thanks, by the way. Well, anyways, you get what I mean. Hey, it's Gil. I'm Campaign Family Compound. How are you doing, man? You know, I know I'm probably gonna grind some gears with some of the purists out there, right? But I just want to sure make sure you guys understand my point of view on this. All right, why I believe in a hybrid model of certain things. All right. Yes, I know your point of view too. So let's see. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Oh, okay. It's good, Penny. It's all good. Yeah, the gears in the house. What's up, man? Okay, you know what? I want to state this straight up, right here. Doing more for the environment. I've seen what you guys do out there. I've heard the stuff you guys do, Bob. You know, you're trying to recover some resources, and put it back into like the grass, right? That's a form of environmentalism. You're growing the garden. That's a form of environmentalism because you're growing green plants and trying to grow more locally, so that kind of shorten that supply chain, right? So there's that vehicle doesn't have to come to your place to the store for you to go to the store to go get it. It's grown literally just right outside, right? If you got solar, yeah, that's part of it too. And people will be like, "Oh, but you're burning wood, but propane." Well, yeah, okay, I get it, but they're also growing a garden, trying to put things back into the grass, composting, mulching, and stuff like that. Reusing too, right? I've seen what you guys do. You guys reuse stuff. Bob, you sent before, you reuse metals, right? You fabricate it, put it, right? Scrap metals, right? If you didn't pick them up or whatever, they probably would have ended up in a landfill or in the dump. But no, you're reusing it. You're giving it a second chance, putting it back to good use. And some of these items are helping you prep too, right? That candle holder, right? Look, you made a candle holder with a bunch of scrap. And to me, that's like a win-win. You're helping the environment because that metal's not in the landfill, and you're helping yourself because now you get a candle holder. It's because, you got the tools to fabricate all that stuff. So I just want to mention that because that's what I like. Okay. I see Grace here with A, by the way, as in awesome. Not to be confused with the other Gray Man chirping. Although both of them are awesome, by the way. Yeah. Well, Tennessee, remember recycling. See, the 5R, there's multiple R's in this equation, right? Remember, recovering the resource and recycling should be one of the last things you consider. Reusing, reducing is probably more important. So what Bob's doing in reusing is probably better than landfill. Better than it going directly to a recycling facility because he's directly reusing it into something. It doesn't have to be melted down, reprocessed, remelted down to make a part for something else. He's using it as is and just kind of fabricating it together and connecting it. And oh, look, here you guys go. Here's a candle holder or something like that. And he's making something he can use right away. Yes, I'm putting you on the spot, Bob. Yeah, but yeah. Exactly, right? Like, let me see here. Hold on. I gotta put that on the screen. Where did I? Yeah, you bet you did. Yeah, right. No, well, that too. That too. Where's that one comment I just saw? It. Yeah, right there. I'm gonna put that up on the screen, right? You even said that earlier, right, Paul? And this is why when I heard you earlier in a different stream and such, when we were on panel with someone else, I was just like, that's why I wanted to bring up that story because yes, that is actually helping. It's helping the environment and it's helping your pocketbook and it's probably helping your general preparedness too because you're saving money. It's not going to waste, right? And you're reallocating the funds towards something else. You don't have to per se buy something at the thrift store or Goodwill or something like that. You're reusing something and fabricating it up with supposedly scrap metal, right? Things just tossed on the curb or whatever, right? And yeah. Yeah, the original Gray Man, yeah. Yeah. That's why you're awesome, Bob. That's why when I see you talk about that, I'm like, yeah, it brings a smile to my face. It does. It really does. It's just like how I've heard of other homesteaders or other preppers out there that are like trying to reuse the materials around their property to make it work, right? Where, hey, I got the scrap pallet and this pallet. Instead of just burning it, right? Instead of just burning it for firewood, no, they're making some sort of compost bin or something along the lines of that. I mean, there's a lot of examples where I've seen people reuse stuff. I'm just like, yeah, that's good. Try to reuse stuff as much as possible. Don't just toss it. Try to reuse it as much as possible. Let's see. Yeah, but sunflower. You say, you wish you could do more for the environment, environmental spirit, but it costs too much. That's why you still keep doing the little things. Always add up those little things. It's just like in preparedness, right? Make progress in it still as much as possible and keep doing it. It's just like adding, oh, here's another can of food, here's another can of beans, another bag of rice, right? Try to incorporate that in terms of your environmental spirit. It's like those cans, right? Let's say, yeah, okay, those cans of beans. You just consumed one, right? Maybe you take another one can. Okay, it's a smaller one. You take this number 10 can or something like that with some fabrication, some tools and stuff like that. Go make a rocket stove out of that. That's a way of reusing it, and that doubles as a way you could as an emergency heating / cooking device if necessary. That's something I would do. That's a way of reusing something, right? You know, environmentally maybe slightly better, right? Just because you're reusing. You're reusing it before trying to recycle it or something like that. So just an example right there. Or, start a garden, right? For all you guys and gals that are starting a garden or have been gardening for a while, that's awesome. All right. Saves your pocketbook. Shortens the supply chain, right? Because it's just literally right outside, right? Maybe you can it, freeze dry it, dehydrate it. Yeah. Makes it last longer, so you're not wasting food. And also, there's green plants, right? And put that carbon back into the ground too. Sequester it, right? Compost, right? Mulching in, all that stuff. Increasing the surface area of some leaves and just let it sit underneath the soil or on the grass, and then that'll just it'll disappear. Like if you did it right now, it'd be gone. You won't even notice any of it by the spring. It'll be already decomposing. You'll be like, oh, that pile went away fast. CR, yeah, because you broke it down. It's broken down now. Yes, you're awesome, Bob. By the way, I mean you guys are all awesome. Don't get me wrong. You guys are all awesome. I'm just using Bob as an example, right? I've seen what you guys do. I've heard your stories, so it brings a smile to my face when I hear certain little things. People reusing stuff, right? Everyone's like always like you always hear the CR words, right? Yeah, but I also hear other things like when people are reusing stuff. It just brings a smile to my face, right? Because we need to be doing more like that. Because let me bring this back to the preparedness side. One of the bigger lessons and things that they did during the Great Depression, right? It's only been not even 100 years now, right? 92 or whatever. It's going on right now. One of the big things is they try to waste nothing, use everything as much as possible, reuse as much as possible, right? Because resources were iffy, right? Iffy. You didn't know if you were gonna be able to get more meat or corn or whatever it is, right? Butter, I don't know, something like that, right? So you had to make do with what you had, convert it in some way, reuse it, right? So I think that's why I wanted to bring this all together, like it was always meant to be. Let me see more of my chat here. Oh, okay. Yeah. Let me see here. I'm behind him on the chat. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, on graphene. Yeah, I've kind of heard about this. Like I said, I don't see. There's certain channels that I haven't actually subscribed into, but I do watch the content. So yes, because I'm trying to diversify my knowledge a little bit more, right? See what's out there, right? Like I'm not saying like I don't believe in the old school ways or whatever, but I gotta also remember, hey, there's some new information out there, right? I'll take it with a grain of salt, of course, right? But add that into the knowledge bank or into the skill bank too, right? And diversify what I know, right? Because right now I think we need to diversify a lot more, right? Have more options, right? I mean, if I had it my way, like I said, this is why I go through this, what I call the hybrid, right? It's like, yeah, I want an electric vehicle with gas, just so I can have the best of both, right? I'll drive the electric, blah blah blah, da, 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 all this other stuff, right? Always all green energy, blah blah blah. But hey, grid's down, power outage, I can't find a charger, or I gotta go longer. That's where the gasoline will come into play. Let me see here. You will use all the yarn before you buy. Yeah, okay, yeah, yeah. See, that's another thing too, right? See, in the equal minimalism or the zero waste or zero waste movement and stuff like that. You know, sometimes you hear, "Oh, get this, get a bamboo toothbrush," along the lines of that. Well, a lot a lot of them are now saying a lot more is like, before you do that, use what you do have first, right? There's no point in, oh, here's a perfectly good toothbrush, and I'm not gonna use it because, hey, I want to use this bamboo one first. No, no, that's just, it's like wasting food, in my opinion. Right? Use what you do have first, then transition to something else. Right? Always finish what you're using first because you already used it. It's already in your place or in your home or in your room or whatever. To try to use that stuff first. Yeah, you'll save all your scrap yarns to make something beautiful. I mean, look at the crafting community. The people that sew, like and I know a lot of people like Valerie and stuff like that. Val, if you're randomly watching this right now, yeah, I'm talking about you. She's a crafter, right? I wouldn't really call her a homestead or anything like that, right? They got certain little things or whatever, right? But she's mostly a crafter, right? But some of this crafting community, they reuse scrap materials to make, like, put it into stuffing to make dolls or pillows with, right? I mean, that is a form of reusing. So it's like, just like you're saying, like, uh, that number two, I will save all my scrap yarn to make something beautiful, right? I have a scrap pile of material that I can put into like a mini pillow. I've made mini pillows before. Unfortunately, I can't show you because I gave them away already, right? And they have logos on it and all that stuff. But I made them for those people, right? So I made them specifically for people to have, improve their man cave or whatever, their lady den or whatever, right? And it shows that, hey, I cared enough that, hey, I made this little thing for you, right? You can hang it in your man cave. Hopefully, bring uh, bring you joy or a smile on your face when you see it, right? And a lot of that stuff was reclaimed material, things I found, right? So basically, I brought that from a useless state back into a useful state, and hopefully make someone happy, and managed to use those scrap pieces that I had laying around and put it inside that little mini pillow. Well, what I call a mini pillow. Basically, it's basically a not decoration, a logo that I just kind of made into a three-dimensional shape. But they liked it because it's one of a kind, right? Their friends come over. It's like, hey, blah blah blah. Who made that for you? Oh, CR did. What? He made that for you again. You know, you know. It shows that, you can reuse something and still make it look cool, right? And it can be a unique item or a unique thing. The thing about reusable bags, right? You gotta use them enough. You gotta use them enough. Like those reusable tote bags, like, grocery bags, right? Like I got one right here. You gotta use it enough. Remember that, right? Use it enough. And right? And they also say, hey, don't buy a new one if you don't have to, and try to reuse the plastic bags as much as you can, right? So, something else I keep in mind too. And speak of plastic bags, one of my earlier videos about plastic bags, right here, is making porn and braiding it. Which I've shown many, many, many times of me braiding it, right? I do it all the time. I do it all the time now. Like the braiding, basically, I was using it to make what's known as a zipper chain knit, basically a daisy chain version of cordage, right? Basically plastic cordage, right? I mean, I've always do it now. Sometimes I'm just like, oh, I just need a little piece of cordage, and I'm like, oh, here's this little torn up bag. There's a hole, they're not using it, and I just cut it up in a certain way, and next thing you know, 10 minutes later, I got some cordage I can use, which I've reused back into the useful state. And cordage is what? Very useful preparedness type of item, right? I'll say it's not paracord, but I don't have to use that paracord that I do have. I don't have to cut a little, let's say, 2 feet section off of it, off of a 50-foot spool, necessarily, because I'm reusing something else first, which means I can still use that 50-foot all the way, if that makes any sense. So, yeah, that's why I would do it. Yeah, I know I'm behind. I know I'm behind now. All right. Sorry, I'm behind. I went on a tangent there, but I wanted to just kind of say that. So some of those things that you see me do in the past, right? That's why I do it. All right, let's keep going on here. Yeah, you built a hobo stove before? Yeah. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, your Tennessee Tackle, you said your grandma would use everything more than once, as much as possible, right? As much as possible. I mean, obviously, there's limitations on how far you can go with it. Right? I mean, like, you might have to store it for a little bit, like scraps, right? You might, little pieces, yeah, you got to store it to build it up, but in time, you can reuse it. Oh, okay. Sunflower, let me see, I'm behind on the side chat a little bit. That garden, I think that trying to do that in the spring, right? Trying to source out some seeds right now, right? Because no one's thinking about seeds for next year, really, right? Everyone's done the season, right? Try to source them out, right? Things that can grow there, tomatoes, whatever, right? Kind of, and get more experience in it, right? Because, you know, it's not always as easy as just planting seeds in the ground, right? Sometimes you're gonna learn how to do certain things and identify, hey, oh, this is blossom enrod or something like that. Maybe I should prune this or something like that, and see the colors and the smells and all that stuff. That's something you don't get in the video. Smells and all that stuff, or the taste and smells, right? You can't smell in a video. You can't taste the fruit that they're showing or whatever. But if you grow it yourself, oh, this is what it looks like. Oh yeah, it looks more red than I think. Oh, they turn from red to green. I mean, from green to red as it ripens. Here's the flowers from the tomatoes or something like that. Oh, this is how to prune the tomato plants and all that stuff, right? Oh, this is what they mean about blossom and raw. This is what they mean about that zippering or the tearing of the skin. Oh, right. Where you see it with your own eyes, you observe it with your own eyes, and you're gaining the experience with it. So hopefully, in time of need, you've already done this beforehand. if that makes any sense. And besides, growing plants is good for the environment too. Okay. Let me have a sip of water, sip of coffee here. I know I've been talking a lot here, but see, I have a deep passion for this. Very deep passion for this, apparently. And thank you to the people out there right now that are dropping by, and people that have dropped by earlier, right? I do appreciate it, right? You guys are giving me the motivation to keep going, right? Seeing what you guys come up with as ideas and stuff like that makes me motivates me to like try it out, right? It's like, hypothetically speaking, it's like, well, I never made a rocket, so maybe I should try one, right? You know, didn't seem that difficult. I could do this too, right? And trying to it motivates me to up my game in terms of trying to reuse stuff or preparedness, right? It's like, yeah. All right, let's see here. I'm just gonna put my comments thing all the way down to the bottom here. Oh, I know I'm really behind. I know. See, yeah. Okay, use what. Purport. Yeah, use what you have first and switch to new. Right? Yeah. Okay. Well, okay. See, there is so. Maybe I should have put slow mo on. Maybe I should have put slow mo on it. Now I'm thinking I should have put slow mo on. Apparently, I should have put slow mo. About the paper and the plastic. Remember, don't think paper and plastic, right? Don't always assume the end game of it, right? The end cycle, end life of it, right? Think of the production too, right? Paper has a tree has to be cut down per se, right? Yeah, paper is disposable, but I mean disposable, compostable in time, hopefully, right? But a tree had to be cut down, right? That can lead to, especially with a lot of paper cut down. I mean, a lot of trees cut down. You get deforestation, right? Clear cutting and all that stuff. And the thing is, wildlife sometimes likes to be in the tree line because there's shelter, right? Shelter elements away from the wind, right? Shelter from predators and stuff like that, right? Because if you look at like the savanna areas, right? When prey doesn't like to be out in the open, because they don't like to be out in the open. Well, I should no. Okay, forget what I said. Oh, it's been a long day. Sorry. I think you guys know what I mean there. All right, I'm just gonna catch up to the chat here. I feel like I'm way. Oh, I am really behind. Okay, I'm just gonna read everything real. Yeah, I see the. Oh wait, hey, I'm at the bottom. Okay, I'm at the bottom of the chat. Sorry. This is probably the first time I've actually been so behind on my chat. You know what's organic, Gil? Something you grow in your own backyard, right? Where you know what you put into it as much as possible, right? It wasn't sprayed with anything because you never had to. The insects came on their own free will and stuff like that. Yeah, Tennessee. Yeah, let's just. I would condemn not doing that. See how I use that word there? Yeah, I think everyone knows what that means. Yeah. Well, I'll let Gil explain that. Okay. Well, you guys are definitely really going on that one. Okay, I'll let you go. My knowledge on that is not as I'm not as experienced with that. I'll let you guys talk about that. So continuing on here. See, I'm back up to 38% now, so that's good. I think I can. I'll let my battery charge all the way back up to 50 at least. I do appreciate you guys all coming in and dropping by here. You guys are awesome. And like I said, you guys are showing me that, not to give up, right? To keep doing things. Make progress as much as possible, right? And try. Right? Try. Because, sometimes I hear stuff like, oh, what's the point? What's the point? Well, if you don't try at all, then what's even the point anyways, right? Right? You're just giving up too fast, right? It's just like not trying something out before you even, not giving up on something or saying no to something before you've even tried it, right? I'll show you guys something. Why not? Hold on. I'll show you guys something. Food, right? I'll show you guys something. I'll show you guys something right here. I've shown this before, technically. I still have it, actually, which is funny. Let me double check my cameras in the right direction here. Settings, camera, yeah, back. I wonder what this is. Right? This was grown here, by the way, right? This was grown out in a garden. Oh, I better not put it down too hard. Right? I wonder what this is. Anyone want to take a squash? I mean, guess? So, right? This is probably, I don't know, maybe 3 pounds, give or take. It's quite heavy. It's definitely heavier than a kilogram cube. So, for example, right? For example, and that's not overly difficult to grow, overly, amongst other things, right? I'm working on some seeds myself here. Like I have that stockpile of quote unquote canned stuff. It's there to supplement things I can grow, like vegetables. Oh look, that I can add some real tomatoes into that soup, that can of soup. Real tomatoes back in, right? Kind of boost the nutrition value of something like that. Pumpkin. Yeah. Someone's thinking about Halloween already, right? You know what? I said this earlier, and I'll say it again, kind of deal. Gil, I'm not that smart. Oh, I'm still not that smart. I'm not that smart. I pretend to be that smart. No, I'm really not that smart. I know a few things, but then there's other things I have no experience in. So, although there's some things I have experience in, so I can talk about it for a while and do all that stuff. So let me highlight this. Sunflower. You asked how far you should take environmentalism. For example, yarn fibers can be made of sustainable fibers, blah, 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 bamboo letters. Yeah, but turn to the fiber into yarn, it needs too much water. How far you need to take it? You know what? Like I said, do what you can. Use what you do have first. You know, it's unfortunate that there's not more options out there, right? I think if there was more options, more economical options, or options that you can purchase, right? Because environmentalism as a whole, right? It's kind of hard to consider environmentalism, right? Saving the planet, all this other stuff, reducing all this other stuff. When to say you don't have food on the shelf, you don't have food in your fridge in your cupboard. The water you're getting is polluted, right? You're not thinking about environmentalism. You're thinking about survivalism first, way before something more sustainable, or what's that called? Environmentally better, right? I mean, you can't think about, let's say, a bamboo toothbrush if you don't even have a normal toothbrush. You can't even get a hold of that, all right? You're not thinking about, stuff like that. I mean, it's hard. It's hard when these options are not available to people, or generally available to people. I hope that makes sense, Sunflower. Because I've talked to people before, right? And I've talked, Sunflower, well, no names or whatever. When I talked to you before, right? We were talking to someone else, right? And I want to bring up their story. It's like I said, it's kind of hard to think of, recycling or reducing or whatever when, hey, the only thing around here is gasoline. The only thing around here is like potato chips in a bag, right? That organic stuff, oh, it's too expensive for me. I would like to have solar power or whatever, but I don't have the money for that. Right? It's kind of hard to get into something if you don't have the funds for it, or don't have access to it. Right? Because a lot of the time, if people had the choice, yeah, they probably would choose, but unfortunately, they don't have the choice, or it's out of their price range. Because some things, there's an upfront cost, right? Upfront cost to something. Oh yeah, I would like to have solar or whatever, right? But or let's say like gardening or something like that. No, I would get into gardening, but I have dogs. I'm not sure what they would do, right? And then stuff like that. So sometimes there's limiting factors like that. Yeah. Have you many? You know what that reminds me of? This video I've seen. Oh, let's just use a whole roll of saran wrap and make a shelter out of it. Right. Two things. Just bring a tarp. Just bring a tarp, right? Just bring a tarp. It'll probably be around the same price anyways, right? And tarp is probably easier to set up. Let's wrap saran wrap around all these trees. And the second thing is, a tarp's probably more reusable than that saran wrap if you're wrapping it around the tree to make shelter with. I'm just saying. That's what I would say. Okay. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Yeah. Well, so far, I do appreciate your questions, and Penny pitching. Your comments are very constructive too. You too, correct? You too, Gil. Yeah. Like right now, okay, I got the sink right here. Wow. Here's a oh well, I don't have the lights on, but look, I have a sink right here. Oh, I have a little tub. I put water into this, then do it. I'll try to reuse this gray water if I can, depending how bad it is, right? Depending how bad it is. If there's food particles inside, obviously I would have to pre-filter that out, right? And stuff like that. If it's heavily greased, that's a different matter, right? But I use this so I don't have to fill up the whole sink, right? I don't have a dishwasher, okay? I don't have a dishwasher. I know some of you out there have a dishwasher or something like that, you know? Keep your dishwasher running on a full load, right? Maximize the load as much as possible. The dishwasher. I really, yeah, that almost sounded weird. Okay, anyways. Mental to self, don't say it like that again. But yeah. So right now, I got a few dishes, but basically I just gotta wipe them. Maybe a little bit of dish soap in that. I'm good. All right, I got a container of garbage right here. So I'm not, like I said, I'm not perfect at it either, right? Unfortunately, I still have a little bit of garbage. I'm trying to minimize it, right? I think I'm more, thinking in terms of not zero waste, but equal minimalism. I think I'm more preferring that term, right? Zero waste. You would have to be in the middle of, let's say, a forest or in the jungle, and you're only using natural materials. And the things that, like, let's say, you have to dispose of, you're recovering it into the ground, you're composting it, right? And all that stuff. And your home's built like that and all that stuff. But unfortunately, most of us are not living like that, right? Do what you can, right? Reuse what you can, too. As much as possible. I mean, I'm trying to reuse as much as possible, too. As much as I can. And even not only reusing the item, but trying to put them back into a useful state. I mean, one of my more popular videos here on the channel, something I showed, what? How long ago was that? I think that's been 6 years. Me reusing an umbrella. It's one of my popular videos. I even used solar ignition to melt the plastic to separate, but basically reuse an umbrella, right? And I've done this. I've been doing this for a while now in terms of reusing umbrellas, something like that. I've actually reused many now, many, where I'm actually pulling it out of something and I'm just doing it in front of people. It's because I know the benefits of something like that, like laying it out so I can just lay down on the grass or whatever, right? I've used it to, like, put it on between a jacket and a hoodie to add some loft or dead air space if I needed something like that, right? Is it good? Is it great like a poncho? No, but it can provide me a little bit of extra protection against water for a period of time. Eventually, it will soak through because it's not in that canopy form anymore, but it could buy me some time. I mean, I've used it to put stuff into and just tie out the top and carry things in, on a stick. Well, it wasn't on a stick, but I've done that stuff before, so yeah, I've reused that. Oh, okay, that's cool. That's cool. Penny. So yeah, stuff like that. I mean, like, I've been trying to reuse so much more, as much as I can. Try. I say try. All right, because I've been discovering a lot more. Show somewhere right here. I can go get it. For anyone that's seen my campfire tin video, I'll actually bring it back out. Oh, I've actually shown this tin before, by the way. I've actually shown this tin before in one of the resource haul videos. You just don't notice it anymore because obviously it's different now. Let me bring this out here. I think I actually have like chart material in here. No, I don't have chart material in here. It's something else, but here's that chart tin that I showed in the resource hall video. This is also the same tin that I showed in the campfire and me making char using the chart tin. This is it right here. This container right there. Hi, Gray. I see you in there. Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Penny. This, it was by a garbage bin. I know it would have ended up in landfill because no one probably would have reused it. I reused it to make the next fire kind of mentality, all right? And things I could do along the lines of that, right? Because it didn't matter what was in the tin because I'm burning the tin, all right? I'm heating up the tin to where it's glowing hot. And for anyone that's seen that video, yeah, you can see how hot that tin became, right? It was so hot that, well, literally you see flames shooting out from the hole, right? From the exit hole. Let me just put this back into the little baggie I have it in. Even this little baggie, see, I'll show you guys right here. This little baggie right here. This baggie right here. Yeah, I know it's oil-based, non-organic, but I reused it. This is actually came from packaging. I just folded it and I just melted it and together and just kind of made it into a baggie. Obviously, it doesn't have, this ain't like one of those sandwich baggies, but it's probably a little bit more durable, and I don't have to waste a sandwich baggie yet, right? Right? Exactly like what, right? Try is all we can do, right? So that's why I'm just trying. Put this back in here. Now, I got another chart tin to use and such. So that's just my chart tin. Reused something, too. And I'll be able to use that as a chart tin for a while, actually. I don't know, actually, if you can... I've never heard of anyone actually using their chart tin so many times that the tin actually breaks. I've never heard of anyone actually breaking their chart tin from using it so much in terms of heating it up, letting it cool down. I think, I can understand if it was made from something lower melting point like aluminum, but I don't usually use aluminum tin. I usually use a steel one because steel has a higher melting point than aluminum, right? What, as high as copper and stuff like that. Oh, I got a gray and a gray. It's kind of funny because today was the skies were all just gray, and I just happened to have grays in here. It was like it was meant to be. Oh, sorry. What am I thinking? Nice to see you. You know what? Hold on. I'm gonna change this. Why not? Why not? Besides, I don't want Gray 1107 feeling left out. I'll change that. Let's change that. I like to see some beautiful people. Oh, I meant beautiful. Get it? I know, Sunflower, you're probably like, oh, you did it again, everyone. So, yeah. Figure I changed that for you guys. So, yeah. It's just like, how do I say, it's just like a pen. Like, I'm not even bothering buying a pen. I'm just using the ones I can find or using the ones I have up. I probably will never buy a pen again. Unless I don't have one at all. Which probably won't happen. it's funny sometimes. Some of the things I see out there, right? And when you think of like um if you've ever seen some people's type of go bags or whatever, there's certain items you may see in there, right? Now, I'm not saying this is the one I found or whatever, but let me just bring out an example here. This is, I don't know if this is actually one I found. I don't know if I've had this for a while. Just bring it into the room here. Something like this. Most people, oh, hey, I'm gonna buy a permanent marker to put in my go bag, right? So I can mark things or whatever, right? I'm not saying I found this one, but I found permanent markers before, and they actually did work. And let me, and actually, maybe I should make sure this one works. Yeah, it still works too, right? I can still write with it. Get finish off using it up, right? Maybe I can only write another couple words or another paragraph of text, right? But it's getting used up, using it up all the way, and not just using half of it, right? Because it's almost like wasting food, all right? Where I just ate half the orange and I'm just gonna throw the other half away, right? Or here's half a meal and throwing the other half away. I don't. I mean, I'm not saying I'm perfect eater, but I try. If I'm For anyone that doesn't know, I'm a big food type of person. I like to eat. High metabolic rate. I'm sorry for those on a weight loss, but I have the opposite thing. All right, I'm trying to gain weight in, so that's why a lot of the time people will be like, "Hey, do you want this?" That's because I don't like seeing food wasted. I really don't. I really don't. Especially considering there's people out there that are skipping meals right now, right? People are skipping meals right now. I've been hearing about this. Our YouTubers and stuff like that have been talking about this too. It's a thing. It's a thing that's happening, or they're rationing, right? And I'm not talking about you know third world countries. It's happening in first world countries and places like Europe or in North here on the North American continent too, right? And it comes back down to, oh yeah, I would like to buy organic, but hey, I'm starving, and I gotta make ends meet, so they gotta get this. I know, right? It took you guys. I was wondering if you were. I'm like, when's the guild gonna say this? Right? I'm waiting and waiting and waiting. I'm like, oh wait, that's because Hugo's not back yet. He didn't notice. What? What? I'm putting it on the screen because it's actually kind of funny. It's actually kind of funny. It's actually kind of funny. You gave your neighbor brown eggs. You gave him 11 and one white one, and I wrote, "Haha, it's a fake egg." He hasn't said anything. uh, uh, yeah. Hey, just be glad I'm not cracking a pun yet, right? We're trying to not make any more jokes here. Every so often, I can be funny. I'm trying to be serious in this stream a lot more. I'm trying. I'm trying. But sometimes it is good to laugh every so often, right? Enjoy company with people too, right? Right? Like I said, right? People help us do things and help us out, right? It's just like the people that help you pour concrete so you can have a new driveway or whatever, right? Or pathway or sidewalk or whatever. To here's the guys removing a tree for us, right? Because they got the gear and the experience, right? Yeah. Anyways, before I go on here, let's see. Oh, whatever, CB. Oh, whatever. Okay. Yeah, then that is funny. Yeah. For anyone that's played games before, you can get penny pinching has gained 24 EXP as reached level 2. Just kidding. But but on a serious note, right? In terms of preparedness, right? Try to don't don't look up and see, oh, there's that ceiling that I have to reach and stuff, right? Keep climbing that step stool, right? See, I made this comment earlier to someone else, and I'll paraphrase it a little here. We're facing multiple hurdles out there right now, right? And I've used the word hurdles before as a metaphor, and actually, it's been one of the original descriptions. Well, I shouldn't say description on my about page. I just tweeted a bit, right? And I'll relate this into food, right? If food insecurity or food prices are going up, right? Picture that as a hurdle that we have to jump, right? If you don't jump it, you fall. You're not eating. Blah blah blah, right? And you're probably like, oh, hey, sure, but the rich can afford anything still, right? They're not worried. Yeah, that's because metaphorically they can buy a ladder to climb that hurdle. The rest of us, right, have to do something else. The people that are preparing right now in advance, we have a step stool that we can use, right? While other people that haven't prepared as much or very little, they're right at the ground level. And then there's other people that are under the ground and trying to jump a hurdle. So yeah, consider that as a metaphor right there. Yeah, because remember, morale is one of those things too, right? Sometimes I'm not saying not don't take it. How do I say? Take things seriously, right? Take things seriously, but also realize enjoy life too, right? Where they go hand in hand, right? You prepare in life to enjoy, so you can enjoy life more, and then you enjoy life so you can be ready more, right? It made more sense in my head. Sorry. Oh. Okay, I'm back up to 65%. Okay. Oh, I think I okay. I think I can start shooting video more again. I actually brought some stage props in. I'm just like I've only shown like the hand warmers and all that stuff. I'll put my tripod to this. I'm sorry, we're gonna be in the in the portrait mode. I'm sorry. It's because I'm holding the phone now. Yeah. Okay. I'm just gonna put that on the screen right here. At least you got a sense of humor, right? And understand what I mean about it. Right? This is why I've always used hurdles as a metaphor because it does make sense, right? And remember, we're going around the metaphoric track of life right now, right? Every lap that we do every year, right? Sometimes there's hurdles that we have to jump. I mean, I don't want to fall on my face, and I don't want to be like tripping over it. So, right, you know what I mean? I want to be ready for it, train for it, be ready for it, have the right kind of footwear for it, and such. You know? Oh, look at that! Someone put a step stool in front of this hurdle, right? That's nice. That's nice of someone to drop by some food. I mean, put that step stool there for me. That's very nice of them, right? So, because it makes it easier to jump over or get over. Like I said, metaphorically, we all can't afford that ladder to jump over it, but that those step stools or that little tiny steps, right? It's like steps in preparedness, right? Keep making progress in it and stuff like that. And eventually you'll be like, huh, I eventually made the staircase here. Right? Now, this hurdle that's coming by is a little bit easier to jump, a little easier to get over. And remember, these hurdles are rising, right? These, right? Like, the prices are going up. Yeah, the hurdle's going up. And stuff like that. And let's just say metaphorically, wages are the ground. Well, wages are only going up so far, right? So the ground's only going up so much. But the hurdles increasing a lot faster than the ground's increasing in height. So there's a metaphor right there. Actually, I'm not. See, I got one. Let's see here. See, I got one of these, right? I had this in. Something I get. Hi. It's an all abundant life. You misunderstood, yeah. No. Who good? You're just a good-hearted person. But yeah, something I added in. Yeah, one of these things, right? I cycle this stuff out. I mean, cycle stuff out. I cycle the stuff in, right? Rotate it in. If let's say one of the things I've started to do now is the better by date, right? I'll just say the better by date of things, right? Where it's optimized generally for freshness and taste and all that stuff, right? Not saying you can't consume it the day right after the best before, but one of the things I started to do, if it's coming out to that date or relatively close to mine for date or whatever, I'll start putting it in the kitchen. That way I know, hey, I can consume this right now if I wanted to, and I feel guilty. And then, hey, I took that, like, let's say that pouch or whatever out from storage, and remember, okay, I got to put a new one, try to put a new one in there, try to replace it. That way, and cycle that stuff. That way, hey, I'm hungry. I can be like, hey, this stuff that's on the counter or whatever in the kitchen, I can consume it because I know that I pulled it out from storage. I can consume it, or people can have it, or whether it's saved by people or whatever, something along the lines of that, relative, whatever, right? And they're like, hey, can I have this, Sierra? Can I have this? Can I make this? Yeah, go ahead. I brought this up. I brought this in the kitchen so everyone knows that this can be consumed today, right now, and not feel guilty about it. And I already know I've already checked the date, kind of deal. It's not something that's just been bought and now it's getting eaten right away. No, it's something that I've already stored for a while, or I've had for a while. That way I'm rotating, all right? Rotation of the food, all right? Just something I've started to do a lot more now. I find it useful. I'm trying to reorganize this and all that stuff. And let's see here. We can talk about. Okay, I see where you guys are stocking over to. I mean, overstocking. I mean, never mind. Here, I'll show you guys. Okay, I didn't grow this, but I did grow this. Tomato. All right, and I know it. It's like I actually might consume this later after the stream's over. I might actually get hungry because I'm talking about food so much, but it's just something like I know I can consume this, right? So if people come over or whatever, like I said, I can be like, hey, I can open this can and not feel guilty, and I already know that I've checked it. It's rotated out in terms of, hey, you can have this now, right? You don't have to check the date because you know it's coming up soon, or I can consume it because let's say I got another 12 cans of that kind of stuff, right? So feel free to have one if you like, right? That way, no one has to check the date or anything like that. They know, hey, it's gonna be good to go, right? Speak of which, apparently, I think I need to put these cranberries away. I brought all this. See, I've been bringing stage props and all this stuff randomly from other places to illustrate my point a little bit more, which means I actually have to put this away. That's the thing about when you're doing videos or streams or anything like that. When you bring out stuff, or anyone that's done stuff, you gotta remember to put it away, or else it won't be there when you need it, right? So let me just put some of this stuff away real quick here. Physical assets, okay. Let's see. Hey, thanks, Suga. Thanks, Suga. That's very nice of you to say so. Right? That's very nice of you to say so. I'm just kind of making sure and kind of remembering to put the newer stuff. Newer stuff. The FIFO, right? That's the acronym for first in, first out, right? So things. Let's say if something's like next month, I'll be like, oh, it's coming out to next month. I can consume it relatively soon, right? But now these are for. I thought yeah. See, I have the dates. See, I actually have a Sharpie in this room where I store a lot of this stuff. Right. I would show you, but I have. Well, maybe I could. Right here. See, Sharpie. I keep it nearby. Oh, look, I can. See, metal shelf. All right. That way, it's already there. Right. So I can drop it. It's like, I didn't write anything onto it. I can write it right now. Right. I don't have to go into that room and find a Sharpie or something like that. Permanent marker. It's right there. And it's just a little cup, right? It's just a little cup. And the thing is, I just, like, if I showed you, I just showed you it, but it's a plastic cup that I'm reusing. A plastic bag that I made into porn and braided zipper chains in it. And I have something, right? It wasn't that complex. And I'm reusing a few things too, right? And in terms of preparedness, look, I got scissors and a permanent marker nearby. So it's good. I have no excuse now. That's funny. That's funny, CB. Yeah, but remember about gold, silver, right? And a lot of people suggest, right? You don't do that until you got the food and the water and such first, right? Because there's no point in trying to say, oh, hey, if I have gold and silver or precious metals, I can exchange it for food. It's probably better to actually have the physical food first, right? Then work on the other things, right? Get your basics squared off first, right? I'm not in that realm yet. Hence, that's why I don't have that stuff yet. Because I'm trying to build up the stockpile, the prepper pantry and stuff like that. Make sure I get that squared away first. Where I can, have a X amount of time of rotation, right? So feel free to ask some questions if you like, by the way. Feel free to cash in your questions right here. Regardless of the denomination. Just kidding. What? And I'm working on this other kind of storage of food, right? I can improve on it. It's not the prettiest thing, right? It's not like, it's on a metal shelf. I'm like literally using cardboard boxes for it, right? However, in terms of reusing, right? Environmental side, yeah, I'm reusing the boxes before recycling them or something like that or whatever, right? So, but mostly it's really meant for smaller stuff, snacks and stuff like that. It's just so I have a spot to put them and I can cycle that stuff out, right? I'm a snacker too, right? I like my snacks too, right? I don't consume them a lot, but you know, I'm talking about any crackers, stuff like that, stuff I can just have if I want to snack on, right? Peanuts, stuff like this, right? I think I have some dehydrated stuff in here too, right? Granola bars, right? And stuff like that. And depending, and having the stuff available, so hey, if I gotta go back or whatever, I can cycle the food out, right? And be like, oh, maybe it's time to cycle something fresher in. Now let's consume what was in the go bag, right? And keep the rotation, right? So the things in the bags, in the glove compartment, all the stuff as fresh as possible. I remember I was watching this one video. No channel name. It's the story that's more important. They didn't check their go bag for quite a while. Let's just say the food ration was like dated back for 2020. But probably the more important thing is that I heard is like, yeah, and I quote from them, yeah, and I have to throw this out now. I went, wow, that's like I said, it comes back to that food waste, right? You know, cash in the trash saying, right? Because if they checked it, they would have been able to consume it and hopefully in time cycle it in, right? Cycle new stuff in. That's why it's just like, yeah, that's really important about checking your gear. Well, not just the gear, I should say, but your supplies, the resources that you have. Making sure they're as fresh as possible, right? And besides, sometimes things happen, right? Things happen. Seats go bad, something gets into it or whatever. At least you know in advance. I don't want to be like some sort of important emergency situation. Oh, I should have checked this. I didn't realize the mice got into it. I didn't realize there's whatever into this, right? Or something like that. Oh, the bed got open. I don't know how that happened. And all right, that's why you want to check on stuff quite frequently, right? Whatever X amount of time, right? 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, right? I would hope at least a year, right? Every year. Because even some things like medication or pills or whatever eventually expire or can go bad. So you want to make sure you want to cycle those up as much as possible. Good night, Bob. Take care, Bob. Appreciate you dropping in. So this is why, you know, I don't mind going through bags and going through stuff like that because it reassures me that I'm staying on top of the preparedness game, right? And always, on top of my A game and stuff like that, and not being complacent about, oh, well, it's good to go, right? I mean, it's one thing if it's like, 25 years shelf life or whatever, right? But let's say cans and stuff like that. Even that stuff, right? You want to make sure, is there any damage on the outside container, right? Right? Because something that's sealed in something and you can't see the inside, you can't see the inside. You're assuming it's good, right? You vacuum sealed it, maybe displace the oxygen with nitrogen or something like that. I wonder if you could displace with helium too. Probably. Maybe it would float. Just kidding. But it's one thing for those items, but I'm talking about cans and stuff like that. Just so you're always inspecting things and stuff like that, and not being complacent and not and just really not assuming all the time, right? Because unfortunately, sometimes assuming it will isn't always great. Because if you assume certain things, then it's just like, and something happens, it looks like you'll get burned, and no one likes to get burned, right? Metaphorically speaking, and literally, right? Let's speak of which, I'll show some more. Look at this. I haven't even shown this. Hmm. What's that in? What's that green thing? Is that yeah. Is those? Yeah. Is that from? Yeah. But yeah. Hmm. Alright, penny pinching. No. It's actually green onion. Yeah. It's just something it's an experiment, right? But it's just to show I'm trying stuff out too. Right? Because some people out there, right? You know, we know some people that live in apartments and stuff like that, right? So minimal space, stuff like that, indoor settings and stuff like that. Actually, I gotta remember to put this back on the windowsill before I forget. Oh, and speaking of which, I gotta close my blinds too. All right, I keep forgetting it's dark out. No, come on. All right, good. Close my blinds here. Keep the heat in. No, it's not. I mean, I got some herb plants, but I'm still trying to get better at the gardening kind of green thumb part of it. I'm trying to get better at it. I'm trying to get better at it, right? And not only my green thumb, but my green hand and my green foot and my green head. Just like a green. Oh wait, I better not say that. That's a trademark. Excuse me. Excuse me. But something like that, it's an experiment, and I didn't know it was gonna go. And I actually started that from seed, and that container, I'm reusing that container. So and stuff like that. So I didn't. It's not a flower pot that I actually bought. I'm reusing something first because I figured, oh, I'm doing this, running this experiment or whatever. I'm like, I'll reuse something first before I, really sink some cash or dough into it, right? Metaphorically speaking. Yeah, my phone's back up to 80%. Nice. Oh, there they are. There they are. Hi. Let's go fish office and Toy Man. How are you both, by the way? Thank you for dropping in. I appreciate it, both of you. Please forgive me for not being able to attend that stream earlier. Forgive CR. I told you guys I'm no saint. I do what I can. Oh wait. Hey, look. Maybe I should show the wait. Hold on. That's no fish tank, by the way. I mean, it's nice to see you go fish. I was in SEA, as you can see the water, because water's important. Not for the fish, not just for the fish, the wildlife, for us too. And let me welcome Funksit. What's up, Cliff? How's it going, man? Yeah. Don't tell me you guys were all streaming. I thought I chose a good time for streaming. Because it's the only time I have. That's why I choose it like that. Hence, I put out the longer notification since like earlier in the week. How's it going, man? I knew it. I'm like, I knew it. I'm just like, I was asking people, like, is anyone alive? I'm like, I just knew people were still gonna be alive, and I knew I'm like, go figure. And here, dropping in now for me. So, yay. Foxit, by the way, that's with an A. There's a key difference. I just want to point that out. There's a difference. Oh yeah, that'd be cool. You know, Fox and Outdoors here, Cliff. He grows stuff too, right? So in terms of the environmentalism or the environment, I mean, he's growing his own stuff. He tries to use great rainwater as much as possible. It's kind of hard for him, you know. He lives down south more, right, and stuff like that. He tries, but he's growing his own stuff as much as possible. So shout out to you, my friend. All right. Shout out to the drivers out there that drive the trucks around so they deliver the stuff, whatever it is, Amazon drivers or freight or something like that. Right. In terms of the preparedness, right? Goldfish Office here can cook from scratch. Well, something. She always makes me hungry. I'm gonna say that straight up. I mean, I've been showing food for like the last like how long? Right? I'm really getting desperate. I might consume that apple right now in front of your eyes, and you'll just be like, magically, it would be like, where'd the apple go? It's gone. I already ate it. Just kidding. Just kidding. Oh, you're back. Cool. Appreciate. Oh, you dropping in here. I'm thinking to myself, maybe this Toyman and Goldfish Office and Gray with an A and Fox and Hookah Homestead and Penny are here, and maybe I'll show a sneak peek in here. A sneak peek. I'm almost thinking about you guys. You guys are persuading me. You guys are showing so much encouragement and some love. I'm thinking maybe I should, maybe a little sneak peek. I just don't know what. I just don't know what yet. I just don't know what yet. Oh, okay. Okay, maybe one thing. Well, maybe I'll show that. I'm just putting some stuff away. I gotta make sure I actually put this stuff away, or else I will forget. Hmm. That's very nice of you, CB. You know, it shows that you care, right? It's like, oh wow, right? And and maybe it helps them too, right? Let's say they were under the weather, feeling hot or something like that. It shows that they care. You care. People out there care. It's just like, and hey, maybe they come back again. They're extra nice, right? Like instead of dropping it off on the front step, they come to the back, right? Something along the lines of that. I don't know, right? Or let's just say, hey, they got to deliver something. They actually take the time to, maybe there's ice. They actually take the time to slide that package towards the door. I've seen this video where someone did that, all right? And that shows commitment right there, right? But it could happen. Mm, memos and stuff I really got to eat before my own live streams and before Goldfish Office comes in and like just talks about all this food she made from scratch. I should have had those dinner buns. Yes, Goldfish Office has made dinner buns too. Dinner buns too, or whatever you want to call those, right? Whatever, right? She's very talented in cooking from scratch. I'm still working on cooking from scratch. Clearly, I need to up my CR game on that one here. She's definitely much better at doing it. I'm right. I'm waiting for like, hey, Goldfish, can you make me a pineapple upside down cake? I'd say ship it over here, but it might turn right side up. Just kidding. Oh, that's very nice of you, CB, to do something like that. Yeah, I say that all the time. All the time. It's either that or, drool face or drool emoji or I'm getting hungry or I should have ate before the stream, all that stuff. You know. Maybe I should have ate more than just soup, like go fish and toy man like to say to me all the time. I mean, even this comments make me hungry. Hungry to talk more about what I was talking about. All right. But yes, you people are awesome too. Dang, CB, you're really awesome. I didn't realize you even did all that stuff. Dang. See, penny pinching purpose is like old school. It's like what people deliver? No, no, I go old school. I just go there. Right, we go pick it up. Right. You like this avatar? This is the same avatar. Well, actually, you've seen the water version of this. See, you can see the representations in here. See, this is what is supposed to represent elemental forces of nature. So, also, you can see the trees in there, the soil, the earth, right? The air it represents by the water, by those white things, right? Also, the blue represents water. Fire's at the bottom, right? Core, right? Because unfortunately, you know, in the real world, there's pollution that's invading these systems, right? Like here in Canada, like generally water's pretty good, right? Generally it's pretty good, right? If you went to other countries, right? If you went to other countries, they say, just buy water, bottled water, don't trust the local water, right? I've seen some of those videos out there and images. It's just like it looks like black water. I was just like, and like literally nearby, you see people in it. And I'm like, oh, that can't be good. Increase amount likelihood to get some sort of toxin in your body, right? Because literally that's black water, right? There's toxic, literally in a nutshell, that's toxic waste, right? Not physically like in nuclear type of toxic waste, but it is very toxic, right? I mean, I like fish too. Not just goldfish office here, but fish in general, right? So fish don't grow in that, right? I'm like, ugh, right? You know, and unfortunately, certain little things have happened like that here in North America, right? Out east, out north here in Canada, right? What, Mississippi or whatever, right? I don't even know. Are they still going through that, by the way? Anyone know about that? They're probably still going through that, right? And the thing is, they're like, oh, people boil the water. Well, you can't boil water that has lead in it. It just concentrates it more. So, yeah, it's very sad. It's sad not seeing the fish in the ponds and all that stuff. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. And that's just because goldfish offices are. Oh, come on. Really? 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 You guys are just kind of like, hey, CR, you want this pie? We're just gonna throw it in your face because you want it so much. I'm kidding, by the way. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I thought that was kind of funny. Oh, you guys. You guys are awesome. You guys are awesome. See now, see you look at that. I just persuade Hugo Homestead to like actually make pineapple upside down cake now. Apparently, I Hugo's like, maybe I should make that, right? All right, try it out, right? Use the pantry items. Let's see if I can make one. You know what I always figured? Like pineapple upside down cake, right? If you in a jam, you probably could make that with our fruits, right? I don't see why not. Really, I really don't see why isn't there like an apple upside down cake or something along the lines of that. Maybe it's because the pineapple's a different flavor or texture or whatever, right? Penny pinching. I feel it all the time. Food craving. No, craving has CR in it, by the way, right? So I'm just saying, food for thought here. Food for thought here. Yeah, okay, yeah, apple crisp, yeah. I've made apple crisp before. Unfortunately, I don't have the footage, but whatever. So I should have backed it up, that footage, and I lost that hard drive, but yeah. I remember that. I guess I could tell the story. It was made from apples from their local tree, and literally, we made it with some base ingredients right now. I'm just like, oh, this ain't that difficult. It's been a while since I made it, that one. I made it back in school and stuff like that. Apple crisp, right? No. It wasn't apple crisp. In school, I made the apple crisp, but at my friend's place, we made apple crumble, but more or less the same. You know, where I'm like, okay, I get to cream the sugar into the butter. Okay. Oh. Uh, Sorry, Gil. Anyone on a diet right now? I'm sorry in advance. By the way, I'm right. Everyone's like, great. There goes my diet. Just toss it out the window right now, right? But but serious on a serious note, though, right? Don't waste food, right? Really, I don't like to see people waste food, right? Especially good food that tastes good, like what you guys are talking about, right? I mean, like, I wouldn't want to waste food like that. Oh, penny pinching. I actually this one time because we were short in school, we were cut down in time, so I can't bake it in the amount of time for school session. I made microwavable pineapple upside down cake. I did that once. I was just like, well, because I needed something to fit in that schedule for that in school for that class, right? I was just like, so that's what I did. That was a long time ago, though. Oh yeah, Toy Man, I totally agree with it. I just mentioned this earlier before you guys came in here. I've seen this video. Maybe I'll send you guys a link or whatever. You can right now. It's only like last week or something like that. It's maybe 8 9 days ago. But I won't directly say which country or whatever. But because really, it could happen in any country, and it could be more than just oranges. But basically, these oranges were getting tossed. Basically, the farmers got them delivered to a store or whatever. The store didn't want to accept them because, oh no, the customers aren't buying this because it's dented or whatever, because hail damage or whatever. It was very cosmetic on the outside. If you sliced open the fruit, for the most part, it was fine, right? It looks exactly like an orange on the inside. Just on the outside, it looks different, right? It's, it reminds me of it's what's on the inside that matters, right? When you look at people. Segue into that. But basically, what happened is like in that video, you could see literally tons and hundreds of oranges just being dumped on the ground, and I was just like, wow. food prices are going up, blah, blah, and all this stuff, and we're still wasting food. Some people, some of the farmers or whatever, probably try to get orange juice out of it or whatever, right? But that has a lower profit than whole oranges. But I'm like I said earlier, I would get 30% back than 0% back. Maybe it's not 100% profit or $30 out of $100, but I mean, I'd rather have $30 over $100 than 0 out of $100 a profit or something back, right? Obviously, I'm not gonna break even, but I'll suffer a little bit, right? I think what Penny Pinching was saying earlier, right? It's like the citric acid and stuff like that. And I was just like, oh, this very, very much disappointed me. I heard this other story. Are you? Yeah, you're still in here, right? That thing with Q, right? I was just like hearing about this garden getting ripped up. I mean, like, and it's the same thing. Oh, and all tossed on the compost pile, right? I was just like, that is a huge waste. You know what? Okay, I'm trying to hold back my tongue here. Trust me. Trust me, I'm trying to hold back my tongue here. I usually do not swear in my videos or on my streams, but I'm almost tempted. I'm almost tempted. Usually I choose our words, but let's just say that's complete yeah. Right? Because like right now, there's hungry people or people looking for food or trying or can't afford food or whatever, and yet some of this food's just getting fairly good food, right? Edible too, right? I'm not saying it's perfect or whatever, but it's still edible. Things can still be done with it or whatever, right? I mean, come on. Can't even make orange juice out of this? Or something like that. It just disappoints me at times that we're still in that cycle, right? We haven't adapted or maybe we should be less worried about cosmetic the outside appearance and worry about the inside more, right? Let's worry about more about the food waste, right? And the thing is, the food waste thing is still a big thing, right? This is even before food waste was a big deal, even before, right? Even before the medical crisis, 2020, right? It pre-existed this. It's probably existed for long periods of time, right? I get in with, oh, hey, the orange has mold on it. That bread has mold on it. Okay, I get that. Oh, the bread's dried out. Okay, well, make some crumbs out of it or use it for stuffing in the turkey or whatever, right? Uh, tomatoes, the oranges, right? I'm like, well, it's still got juice on the inside. You can still squeeze it, get some orange juice out of it at least, right? Then maybe compost or recover the peeling in the ground, right? So and recover that, right? Or also known as rot, right? That's actually one of the five. That's one of the five R's. I was gonna say C. One of the five R's, right? That's actually usually at the bottom, though. One of the last things you do. You can't do any of the other ones. Yeah, I know, right? It's so sad. It just totally. Yeah, it has to. I'm trying to hold back my tongue here. If I was in a private chat, then I would say it a lot more. Trust me. Goldfish knows that I can. I'm just holding back a lot more. Because once I start saying it, then I'll start saying it. So yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Pinching, yeah. It's not just in the U.S., right? I mean, like, there's other countries. It's really everywhere, right? Really, to be honest, it's probably every single place. Probably other places that have less of it. I mean, less food probably waste less, right? Where our places is like, it's like, it's too small. I don't like the shape of it. I don't want it. Kind of deal, right? That's why you've tried to find secondary uses for it, right? And before putting it back, composting it or let it rot in the ground. Okay, that's just like hookah here, right? You give it to the chickens, not kitchen. See, you guys got me thinking about food so much, and I'm not even saying the right words. You're giving it to the chickens, for example, right? At least that's a way of reusing it, right? At least that's still better than, well, let's just let it rot in the field and stuff like that. And the thing is, I don't know, like, obviously it's a video, so you can't see the whole thing and stuff like that. And there may be more details you don't find about and such, right? But I was just thinking to myself, what happened to all this big pile of oranges? Did they just seriously just like let that sit in the openly in the field on its own right there? Not even spread it out so and break it up so the sunlight can break it down. The microbes, the fungi and all that stuff, the microbes and ants, earthworms can start breaking it down even faster. So hopefully it would break down faster, right? I'm almost thinking they just left it as a whole state, like a whole oranges out there. I like that's gonna take a long time to decompose in a pile like that, right? I mean, like I said, Penny said earlier about the oranges. Oh, get orange juice, right? They could have changed it to orange juice, extract the pulp out, then compost the pulp, right? Maybe not make $100 profit or whatever, right? But 30, because orange juice you have to process it, right? You still have to squeeze it. There's still machinery and all this stuff, so it's not like selling an orange that hey, I can sell an orange directly to you. Or orange juice? You want orange juice? Like, someone's got to squeeze it, or machinery's got to be used to squeeze it, right? So hence there's a cost. Yeah. Let me just scroll down to the bottom here. So yeah, I'm glad you guys are kind of agreeing on me here and understand. Yeah, food for thought, right? Just like how Goldfish said it. Yeah, I think I'll go until the top of the hour. Like I said, I have lots to say about this. I'm very passionate about this because, like I said, I've. Oh yeah, remember that? Hey, Goldfish. See, Goldfish Office knows about this their story about food waste that I've mentioned before. Remember that, Goldfish Office? If you're still here. Yeah, do you remember that story I told you personally, Goldfish Office? Yeah. Remember that? This comes back to that. Yeah, exactly, right? So you know that I've seen this happen before, even on an individual level. Okay, penny pinching. I don't want to say an acronym because that just sounds weird. I say, yeah. Where was I go with this? Yeah, I've seen people waste food before too, and it's not because they were full or too picky. I think they just, I don't know. It just disappointed me at times, right? Let's just say, if you're starving, you're not wasting food. Half a plate of food, right? Goldfish. She's heard this story. I'm not going to go into deep detail about it because it's a very deep kind of story with other things that are involved into it, right? And there are no names, of course, right? That's the story that's more important. But I'm just like, you know, you tell me you're this hungry, but you waste half a plate of food. You're a very picky eater, or you're not as hungry as I think. Because if you were that hungry, you would have ate more of it, or at least try to, right? But yeah, I digress. Hold on, sir. Hold on a second, people. I hear something. Okay, never mind. I guess I was just tripping. I just heard something. I thought I heard something. It didn't sound different. Wow, someone's already ready there. You already got the snowblower ready. See, uh, Gil, this is great. I'm working with an A, by the way. Anyways, I already made sure, and I've said this before. Make sure your snow. If you do have a snowblower, make sure it's working beforehand while it's still relatively warm. Right? I say relatively. Right? It snowed out east in the U.S. Right? I don't know. I don't. I I think it has. Well, I know it's snowed here in Canada in some places. I just don't know if it's snowed down south more or down east more. Yeah, exactly. Go fish office. Anyone want a shovel to dig that hole more? I used to joke around with people like that all the time, right? You know, I'm just like, and they're like, "What are you doing here?" I'm like, "I'm just asking if you want a shovel because you're digging a bigger hole as you keep talking here, right?" So, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's you. Yeah, yeah. Maybe remember that in the morning, right? Next when you go out, yeah. Remember next time you're in the shop and such, right? Oh, whatever there, whatever there. Oh, you know what? However, that does remind me. I made something which I've shown already 5 years ago. Something I made with scraps, right? Now, just imagine if I actually welded that in amongst other things, right? This was just made from scraps, right? This comes back to this ties back together this concept of this video or stream, right? Not just the people, the resources, the environment, and preparedness, right? But how it all ties together, right? You talk about 1-800 triple, yeah. Is that actually just a minute? Hey, don't actually. No one actually called that number. We have no idea where that goes. It's like someone's done searched online and be like, "Hey, Sierra, that's actually a real number, by the way." I'm like, what? But yeah, no, it's something I made just to help with snow removal. So it's actually for those times where a snowblower is not working. Like I've said before, I've seen a snowblower heavily not quite catch on fire like an open flame, but yeah, heavily smoking. And just like, let's just say I had to bury it in snow. It was the only option because obviously I'm not getting a hose out water, right? So I buried, right, as everyone remembers, fire needs heat, oxygen, and fuel. Well, so I used snow, buried it in snow. It cooled it down and it prevent air from getting in there. Yeah. I'm still using that snowblower, by the way. I was just like, yeah, so I had to replace the part, but I was just like, yeah, that was very, very close. That was very, very dicey, right? I mean, remember, there's gasoline in there, right? I mean, like, if I started to see an open flame, that would have been very, very dicey, right? Very, very dicey. Yeah. So, my quick thinking is it's like buried in snow, right? Use the resources around, right? I'm like, well, what do I have? I'm like, well, I got snow. I'll use it, right? So I just buried it real fast, right? Like literally just like scoops after scoop after scoop. But that's another reason why I made this one item before. Hashtag CR shovel you out. I thought that said shovelly. I'm like, oh, don't shovel you out. Yeah. You guys are not gonna watch that video that I'm talking about, right? You guys are not gonna watch the video now, right? Come on. At least give me some credit here. Right? You guys can go like link it onto your community board and be like, no, don't do that. Really, don't actually do that. You don't need to do that. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. Don't actually do that. That'd just be weird. Do it if you like, but you don't have to. But it's just something I made from scraps, right? So I reused some stuff, and it helps me too, right? Let's just say it's just like I can push snow to the side, then use a snowblower, right? If I wanted to, depending on what's going on, right? Because even if you used an electric one, yes, there's electric snowblowers now, and there's not only electric lawnmowers, but there's electric snowblowers now. I've been seeing some videos on it and stuff like that. And if you ever go down that route, right, try to get ones that are cross compatible, right? So the battery can work in the snowblower and in the lawnmower, for example. So that's the way I would do it if I had that choice, right? That way, you get more out of it, right? But regardless, manually being able to manually do it, and do it with one hand. Yes, I did. There's a reason why I built this in the first place, right? There's commercial products you can get, right? If Bob was still here, 942, right? If he doesn't know where he lives, so that's why he probably wouldn't make one. But if he did live in an area like that, I could see him making something like that, welding something there, right? Now I don't have a welder or know someone that welds, so I can't do it like that. So I had to improvise, but I made it work, at least for now, right? And just like basically, it uses mechanical advantage and wheel. It's a little bit wider, but it's so much fun to do, right? And I can maintain that for a while. Now, obviously, it's not as fast as a snowblower. Yeah, that's a given. But it's easier and faster than hand shoveling. Even with those things that you still have to lift it, right? It doesn't matter how strong you are, right? I can move 20 feet, 20 pounds of snow in a scoop one handed. I'd like to see even the strongest person do that over a long period of time. And I can move the snow wherever I want, wherever there's less snow. So if the snowbank's building up, I can move the snow somewhere else that has less of a snowbank. And this is why I made it in the first place, so I wouldn't have to use the snowblower all the time or reserve it so where I'm just running it for like a couple of minutes just to tidy off the edge, right? But most of the work's done by hand or using mechanical advantage. Lever, wheel and axle, right? Just like a seesaw, like I said. Oh, did you? Did you go? That's cool. That's really well. Wait, I should say that's really hot or warm. Sierra, what are you doing? Oh, I'm just sticking out my hands, feeling that imaginary heat from his fire right now. I can picture it. I've seen the pictures or the videos, so I'm picturing it in my head. But like I said, there's a reason why I made it in the first place. I thought there was a reason for something like that, right? I thought there was a reason for something like that. So they don't overheat or something like that. I don't know. I've never had one, by the way, Penny. I've never had a winter blanket. I guess I'm old school. Normal blanket, right? I don't know many people that even have one around here personally. Like, I know the concept and all that stuff, right? But I just never really had one. So then I don't know about. But yeah, there's a reason why I made that when we used equipment to make that in the first place. Just to see, well, besides I didn't have the money to buy a commercial product. And I was like, is this actually going to help me anyways, right? And besides, I figured, oh, well, here's a good way of reusing something. So I did. And then next thing I know, I've been using it for a while, a couple of years, right? So yes, picture a seesaw with wheels on in the middle ish, right? So um leverage wheels. Yeah, I can do it. I can move snow around with one hand if I really wanted to. It's kind of funny. It's like people were saying to me in that comments. It's like a catapult. I'm like, yeah, all right. And people look at it. People walk by. It's like, you did this. I'm like, oh yeah, I just kind of put something together real fast, right? Right, to help me out. Because, and again, it comes back to people. I can help people with that, right? That's actually another thing. Has it made me money? Not as much as I think would like, but I've helped people out, and they like, here's a couple bucks here or whatever, right? So I'm like, well, there's something right there. Oh, and that couple bucks, hey, I can buy a couple more cans of beans, rice, whatever, right? Something along the lines of that. Help people out too, right? And stuff like that. People that are like maybe the elderly and stuff like that. So helping people out too. So well, let's see here. I I know I said the top of the hour. I think I'll cut it in like 8 minutes or so. Go to like the my timer says live for 3:37, so I'll break over another 8 minutes. There'll be my standard 2-minute warnings, like usual, so you know I'm slipping out. So everyone can say bye and all that stuff. You just highlight that. Hmm. Yeah, I guess you got to be careful about that stuff, right? You got to be careful about that stuff. And I guess it really goes without saying, you don't need to be steamy hot, as in like under covers or whatever, right? Or your fireplace or whatever, or you're cranking the heat so it's like you're roasting, right? You just need to be comfortable, right? Comfortable. Now feel like a chill or cut the edge off, right? Right? Because like, I know. Oh yeah, you could probably make it really, really warm, but you probably would go through the wood pile much, much faster, right? So the idea is probably keep it so it's relatively warm inside or whatever, or underneath the covers, but where you're not breaking sweat and it's not like maybe I'm too warm, right? Because there's nothing wrong with putting an extra sweater on, right? I don't need to be walking around in the wintertime inside in a t-shirt. Really, I don't actually wear a t-shirt during the wintertime anyways. I'm used to wearing like a hoodie. I'm wearing a hoodie right now, right? I got some wool on too, right? I got slippers on and stuff like that. Like right now, let me see here. The temperature inside for me is about 18, 64 Fahrenheit, right? I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable with this, right? It's because I'm wearing pants and then just wearing t-shirt and shorts everywhere, right? I know better. And besides, every so often I have to slip outside to check on some stuff. So that's another reason why I'm not wearing t-shirts and shorts around, right? I'm wearing stuff that I'm comfortable in, right? stuff like that. So I'm wearing pants and a hoodie and stuff like that. I got one of the buffs on too. That's funny. Yeah, me too. Me too. Well, another thing is then you know how much heat you're gonna get out of it too, right? And the thing is about power, if you're trying to use less power or you don't have it, then what? So you're gonna go back old school in terms of cover and shelter elements, right? Because the heating is like another form of fire, right? You're getting heat from fire, or if it's sunlight, you're getting heat from it, right? Well, when you don't have it, well, you gotta go back and make sure that you have good shelter elements, good cover elements, right? Retain the heat as much as possible, right? I mean, like, obviously it's probably too late in the season or whatever. Probably even more expensive now, right? I mean, especially if you don't have a home or whatever, right? An apartment, that's different, right? Being able to insulate your windows better, or triple pane windows and stuff like that, and like argon or whatever that gas, that inert gas, not inert gas, that has that gas that's a poor heat conductor trapped between the layers, right? Stuff like that. So, the plastic film thing, right? I've done that before, right? I don't have to do it now, but stuff like that. Because I'm almost thinking that a lot more people are gonna maybe reconsider insulation and like it's almost like reinforcing the home, right? So you are having putting more layers on and having better protection. I should no, not protection, but better insulation, slowing down the heat loss, and that could, in time, save you money too, in terms of wood that you use, natural gas you use, or whatever, right? Depending where you are. Hmm. I see. Take care, Gray 1107. Take care, my friend. It's nice to hear from you again. Good night, Penny. Take care, my friend. It's nice to hear from you. Did that much time just go by so fast? I swear 5 minutes went by so fast I didn't even feel like 5 minutes. All right. Here's my standard 2 minute warning here as I see people some slipping out. And it's actually getting late, isn't it? Because actually it's like what? Just hold on. Flip it back to the front here. I have to make sure. I have to make sure. There's certain things I don't want to show. I have pictures hanging. See, I'm wearing a. Look at this. I'm wearing stuff. I'm not talking. I'm just not talking out of my butt about the shelter rate. I'm actually wearing stuff, right? I'm wearing a buff right here. Another buff. Some wool too. So, shelter components. Yes. So, just to show that I'm actually wearing stuff. By the way. All right, everyone. I think this is probably a good time. So, thank you, everyone, and I'll close my things here. Thank you, everyone. All the these people out there that came by and showed some caring and encouragement, gave some food for thought too, made Seattle hungry on this live stream, where I talked about the people, the resources, the environment, environmentalism, and preparedness a little bit more. Hopefully you enjoyed the little subtle, small, but subtle sneak peeks of things. You know, like I said, I'm no saint. I'm no, zero waster or something like that. I'm not quite there yet, right? But I'm trying to make progress in the progress in the preparedness. Trying to reuse things as much as possible. And doing what I can here. Because the way that resources are more scarce or more expensive right now, I think reusing a few things and reallocating some funds every so often will be an important thing. Not saying don't have fun, but make sure you square away important things too. Have fun, but make sure you square away things because you really might need it, right? Have fun, but you might need that food. Have fun, but you might want to have that coffee. Anything else in here? Yeah, so we got that. Let's see here. So yes, keep on prepping, right? That's why this stream was named PREP. People, resources, environment, or environmentalism, and preparedness. Appreciate everyone dropping by. My moderators to keep helping me with the chat, keep the chat going. Seeing some familiar faces, some newer faces, people dropping by and stuff like that. Get to know you all more as people behind the channels. Not just a YouTube channel name, but the people behind the channels, right? You guys are awesome, right? So, like always, everyone, it's outro time. As our world changes, we can adapt to. Our skill and knowledge can get better with practice. You can't help everyone out there, but you can help someone out there. Pardon me. Until the next video, take care, everyone. Have a good night, day, whatever time it is. If you're catching on the replay and seeing this, awesome. Appreciate it. It's peace out from the one known as C. Echo, echo, echo. R. Echo, echo, echo. Oh, and echo this. Maybe community tab. Okay. Take care, everyone. Bye.